Okay, I'm ready when you're ready.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and let folks in.
All right, looks like I see it populating here. I'm going to put it on gallery so I can see as many people as possible. Hey, good morning. All right, thank you for the waves. Make sure I can see you, you can see me. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. We'll give it a second for everybody to get in. Roy, tell me when you think it looks like, because I think you're seeing more than I'm seeing in terms of how people are coming in.
Yeah, of course, we're at 73. I think the magic number you said was like 100.
Yeah,
Around that.
well, no, be a little less than that.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning. Can you see my slide that says welcome to Stand and Deliver? Everybody sees that? Okay, great. If you are not yet in possession, you got a PDF of the Stand and Deliver workbook. The PDF was emailed to you by Cedric last night. So if you could just make sure you have that, I'll be showing you slides, and then we'll have that PDF workbook. If you could have those. Everybody obviously has logged in on Zoom. Ideally, you don't have to, but ideally, if you could be logged in on your computer or your desktop, your laptop or your desktop, and then have your cell phone free, that's ideal. It can work either way. If you have some Post-its, some sticky notes, and a Sharpie, that would be ideal. If you don't have that, the backup is paper and a pen or a pencil. And if you have a manila folder, that would also be great. If you don't have a manila folder, it'll totally work with just paper, and we have a digital solution. So those are some of the materials. So yeah, all right, I see the participant number looks good, Roy, so we're gonna go on in. So here we are. Welcome to day 3 of the 5-day wedding. It is Wednesday morning, and it's I love this. So I love to get to be with you, and I want to give you something practical. Your faculty, that's the PhD research, that's that part of your experience in education. I want to give you some very, very, very practical practical practice. I actually want you to make a speech today, not just one, but 2. You're going to make 2 speeches before lunch, and you're going to have 2 videos of those speeches, and you're going to see speech 1 and speech 2. You're going to see yourself take a stair step up, and I want to invite you Sunday afternoon. You're exhaling, woo, 3-day weekend. I can't believe all that just happened. What a rush. And as you debrief and you look back at what you just accomplished, completing your first course at UCLA Anderson, I would love to invite you to watch those 2 videos and look at that man, that woman, look at that person in that video, and see the stair step between the first one and the second one. And I want you to pat yourself on the back and say, look at me, man, I am growing, I am developing, I am on the court, I'm practicing becoming the leader that I want to be, because leaders speak. It's a big, big, big part of what leaders do. So anyway, this is fun. What about Michelle last night? Wave if you like Michelle. What about that? Okay, that's what I wanted to see. You know, she embodies what we want for you. She's a triple threat. She's professionally accomplished. She's got a great family that she's in charge of, and she's a citizen. She's very much on the court, all those different boards where she gives her leadership back to society. She's a total triple threat 15 years after graduation. So she's a wonderful proof point of what it is that we want to give to you. So thank you for the attention. The questions were great. Everybody showed up. Just thank you. We really honored her with our presence. So thank you for that. Okay, my poem, just to repeat this because I love this poem. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Right? Whatever you want to do with your one wild and precious life, You're going to have to open your mouth. You're going to have to raise your hand. You're going to have to stand up, walk into the accountability and say, hey, world, I have an idea. May I have permission to have the accountability to take that forward? And people are going to give you time. They're going to give you money. They're going to give you resources. They're going to give you creativity. They're going to give you green lights and permission. But nothing happens until you open your mouth. So that's what this practical workshop is about. This is a jump start for you. Make today your masterpiece. Coach Wooden. This week is a gift. This week is a gift. This week is a gift. 7 billion people on the planet. The vast majority of them are not writing a leadership practice plan with this week. And you are. This week is a gift. You've earned it. Keep giving it to yourself. You know, it's hump day, right? The energy's right here in the middle. It'll be over before you know it. And then we'll be on to Thursday and we'll be on the downhill. So you're doing great. Make this week your masterpiece. Coach Wooden says, make today your masterpiece. All of us, faculty, staff, alumni, students, all of us want you to make this week your masterpiece. So, Public Speaking 101, no matter what the scenario, you could be in a big convention speaking to 10,000 people. You could be running a meeting with 10 people at work on Zoom. You always, the most important thing to your body is its next breath. You don't think that's important? Just try holding your breath for 10 minutes, right? Our body always needs the next breath. And sometimes we get nervous when we speak in public, and we always can help ourselves get centered by doing this exercise. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 in, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 out. So let's all do it together, okay? Breathe in like you're smelling a flower. Hold it. And then breathe out like you're blowing out a birthday candle. Very simple exercise. You can always do it. And it always helps you get into your body. Right? Let me get my head, my heart, and my gut. Let's get all of that aligned so I can be present with people. Because public speaking, communication is a right now phenomenon. It's not a memory. It's not a projection. It's right now. And people know when you are with them, and people know when you're worried about the future or regretting the past. But when you are with people, that's where communication lives. And that's where leadership lives. Okay, and that's the practical commitment that I have for this module, is to give you some access to being powerful, how to stand and deliver, speak powerfully and professionally, especially when you're in a hurry, which is like what we're in most of the time at work. Okay, total sidebar. I'm happy to connect with everybody on LinkedIn. I love being connected on LinkedIn. When you LinkedIn connect with me, just put a note. Hey, it's Jessica T from the 2023 class. Boom, that's all I need. I accept it, move along. If I don't automatically remember your name, that you're one of our 2023s, and I get a lot of random LinkedIn from people I actually don't know, and I'm not so interested in that. I'm 100% interested in connecting with you. So if you connect with me on LinkedIn, just say, hey, it's Andrew. Hey, it's Yuling. Hey, it's Tommy from 2023. Boom, and we'll be connected. So it is day 3. It is Wednesday. And I had those 3 congratulations. You're CEO of your own life. You've got this new board of directors, and you're engaged in writing your leadership practice plan. So I'll stop for 5 seconds and just check in with yourself. How am I doing? However you are is perfect. Great. I don't know. I think I'm doing this wrong. Wherever you are on the rainbow of human experience, it's all perfect. Just keep going, right? The only people who get hurt on the roller coaster are people who get off before the ride comes to a whole and complete stop. So just keep going. We're here Wednesday morning. You really are CEO of your own life. This really is your board of directors. You really do get to support each other all week, all fall quarter, and through the rest of core and through the rest of the program. And again, writing a leadership practice plan is a hugely important thing to do. Oh my God, I forgot. If you don't see your group mates here on this call, if you're the only one from your group, you're probably not supposed to be here. We had 2 people who got lost yesterday. So as long as you see at least one other person from your group, you're probably fine. If no one else from your group is here, you're probably supposed to be in the session with Matt. I'm sorry, I was supposed to say that a minute ago. Okay, if the number goes down, we'll know that you want to jump over to the other link. Okay, so back to this, your CEO, board of directors, leadership practice plan. So just keep checking in with yourself. This is my 5th year leading Stand and Deliver, 1st year leading it on Zoom. I made a promise to you on Monday. I'm going to show you a way you can get a 15% raise. Maybe you get a 5% raise. Maybe you get a 25% raise. Maybe you don't get a raise at all, but it's a good method. It really does work. And I'm going to give you a lot of examples of that. And I'm going to teach you how to lose 10 pounds and be a little bit taller. All right. So don't let us get out of here without me honoring that promise. Okay. So I'm going to raise your blue hand if you want to answer the question. Your boss comes to you and says, hey, Andres, I need you to make a speech in 30 minutes. You need to do the thing because I got a sick child and I got to go. What's your immediate reaction? So give me some blue hands and I'll call on people. Tell me what's there for you if your boss says 30 minutes, you got to replace me. All right, Nahal, what's there for you about that?
Sounds good. What is the speech about?
Beautiful. Yeah, let me get a little more information. What am I talking about? Love it. I love the attitude. Sounds good. Great answer. Michael T.
Oh yeah, same. I mean, pretty much same exact thing.
Can you hear me
Like,
okay?
yeah, let's. Oh, there's 2 Michael T's, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay. I think if he's got any slides, like to steal those as well. Probably flip through the slides real quick, get the bullet points, and speak as best I can to the things that I already understand, and not try to get too much into detail because I might not be able to address that detail in the speech.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
So I don't want to mislead anybody.
Thank you. I'm sorry I double called on people. I didn't realize that. So yeah, so clarifying what it is. Are there slides? Are there bullet points? Don't get too much into the details because I may not have time to digest all that. Great. But back to Nahal at the first, like I'm willing. Yeah, I'm ready. Let me hear one more. Well, 2 more. How about Jacob S?
Yeah, I think I would say happy to do it. Who am I speaking with? And is there any more information that I need, to speak with this group that I don't already have?
Excellent. I love, bring a good attitude to work and lots of things open up. And, is there any more information that I need? Thank you, Jacob S. And last person, how about Katrina K?
Hi, I would say happy to do it. And what are the 3 most important points that I need to make sure I address?
Excellent. Happy to do it. 3 most important points that you want addressed. Beautiful. And then the thing Jacob said was, who am I talking to? And I overstepped that. Super important. Who's my audience? What's their point of view? Are they pro, neutral, con? If it's work, probably you know who it is, but you may not know who that audience is from your boss's point of view. All those things can be clarified. Okay, we won't take any more questions right now. Thank you, or any more right now, but thank you for that. Okay, so those are all good things to do, all appropriate. Way to, bring an attitude. What's the topic? Do we have any collateral slides material? What's the hierarchy of importance? What's the top 3? What's, the audience, what's their point of view? All perfect. Another thing you could do is you can breathe, right? So the people who raise their hand, maybe you guys are the ones who like speaking in public. Some of you on this Zoom may say, terrifying, don't make me go. Why don't you give it to him or give it to her? Except you're getting an MBA. This is what starts to happen in your life when you tell people, yeah, I'm getting my MBA. Oh, really? Where? Oh, at UCLA. Really? I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm about halfway through. Wow, I've noticed the last year you've been kind of like, you raise your hand more in meetings, you got more to contribute. Yeah, well, I'm learning a lot. I just bring it back every Monday morning. So this is the kind of thing that starts to happen. And for those of you for whom speaking in public is like not your favorite thing, you can always breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, out. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And you say, yeah, I appreciate that you have the confidence in me to do that. Let me see what I can do to support you. I'd be happy to do that. So you can always breathe. Okay, leaders speak. You can look at all the leaders in life, the good ones, the average, the bad. Good, average, bad. That's what they do. They open their mouth, they squeeze their stomach, air comes out. Leaders speak. That is how leaders create leadership. It's through language. It's through the spoken word, the written word, the PowerPoint word. It's the body language that their body communicates. Leaders speak. So we're going to practice speaking today because that's what leaders do. And it can be practiced. That's the good thing. Even for those of you who are like, ugh, I knew this was going to be part of the MBA And I wrote it in my essay. I want to be more confident and I want to be a leader, but now I have to actually do it, right? It might be a little scary. It's okay. You're going to make 2 speeches before lunch and you'll already be able to check the box. I've already given 2 speeches in my MBA. All right. It can be practiced. And what's the thing about practice? It's not always perfect. And that's okay. I'm shooting the basketball. It didn't go in the hoop. Do I get sad? Do I quit? No. I shoot the basketball some more, and I shoot the basketball some more, and I get better. Today is practice. Next week, results. That's the beauty of FEMBA. I practice here, and I get results over there. Okay, another thing. I still got some hands up from last time, so you can lower your hands. I want some new volunteers. When is the best time to plant a tree? Who knows the answer to that? Andrew C.
100 years ago.
Beautiful. Yeah. Why is it good to plant a tree 100 years ago, Andrew C?
Because I can sit under its shade today.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm walking outside and it's hot and sunny, you know, it'd be really nice if someone planted a tree 100 years ago. When you go to Central Park or you go to Kensington Gardens, you know, you go to these gorgeous parks around the world and you see those incredible trees. You know, they got planted 100 years ago plus. All right. Calling somebody else. Eric T. When is the second best time to plant a tree?
Right now.
Right now. Yeah. It's not going to give me any shade right now, but at least I planted it. So what's the point of this? Some of you love to talk. Some of you are salespeople, 100% commission, eat what you kill. Some of you are management consultants. Some of you love to close the deal. You planted that tree 100 years ago. You're already really good at this. This may be one of those times where you get to give it to other people. Others of you, this is not the thing you're looking forward to. And you're going to feel like nervous and like a beginner. Remember what I said about imposter syndrome? Remember what I said about the comparison trap? It's okay. All I want to do today is compare myself to yesterday. Just comparing me to me. I don't need to compare to all those fancy folks. God, it's so easy for her. How does she do that? I'm just glad she's in my network now because I can learn from her. So nobody gets disempowered because the second best time to learn how to speak in public is right now. All right, what's the name of the week? Leadership Foundations. First word is leadership. That's about going out there and talking to people and making stuff happen. Second word is foundation. What am I going to build my house upon? That's what we're working on this week. This is key and part of that. I love metaphors. I think leadership is a whole lot like dance, right? There's no one way to dance. There's 100 forms of dance. There's classical, there's modern, you can do fusion. And no matter what form of dance you're dancing, every time you dance, it's different. You have a different partner, the lights are different, the temperature is different, the music, the volume is different. It could be the very same song recorded, but it can be different Friday night than Saturday night. And what makes dance so wonderful is that it happens in the moment. And that's what makes leadership so wonderful. Leadership happens in the moment. Okay? And it's a holistic, it's my brain, it's my heart, it's my gut. It's this bag of skin that carries me around. All of that in the moment is dancing. And there's everything available when I'm free, when I'm not like locked in my brain tower worried about stuff, but I'm just in the moment, right? So leadership is a dance as a metaphor, and you can practice and you can learn and you can have different partners. And oh my God, I dance great with her. I dance not so great with him, and I dance okay with them, and I dance really great with them. Okay? And I just keep dancing and I just get better and I just get better. And pretty soon my entire life is a dance. And pretty soon my entire career is leadership. I can lead from the front, I can lead from the middle, I can lead from the back. But when I walk in the room, leadership walks in the room with me. Leaders dance. Dancing can be practiced. What's the best type of leader? What's the best type of dance, right? There's no way to answer those questions. It's what's best for you. What inspires you, right? You get to say, this is your life, and you get to say. And this week is about getting a perspective on all that and building a plan that you get to practice the next 3 months and the next 3 years. Our 3 pillars: think fearlessly, share success, drive change. Become more intelligent, become better networked, much better networked, and then have the confidence to go make stuff happen. This module today, this workshop, it's about the 3rd pillar. It's about driving change. I got to raise my hand. I got to put my voice out there, and then I got to stand up and I got to walk in and I got to bring my best MBA self, and I got to deliver results. And it's an opportunity. And that's why I'm getting my MBA, is to give myself opportunity. Okay, so now everybody should have the PDF. We're going to be going through it. Looks like this on the cover. Got to thank my wife. She worked on this 4 hours on Monday because I was so nervous about the day 1 speech that I forgot to convert this to a PDF. So all thanks to my wife, Marissa, who you're going to hear more about later. All right, so we're on page 1. Why do we have this workshop? Because I want to empower you to speak powerfully in your professional life. My assertion, a leader's effectiveness is a function of your speaking ability. I want to give you a basic speaking toolkit. This is a total crash course. We're cramming a quarter's worth of presentation into 1 3-hour workshop, 3.5. I want to give you a basic, quick overview. I want to give you a chance to practice. I want to develop your ability to speak, to ask for things, to lead. Practice improves competence. Competence enhances confidence. And you go into life and you speak and lead. After this workshop, I want you to proactively go into your life next week and look for little micro speeches. Look for little moments to where you can step up. Can I run a meeting? Can I introduce my boss at a conference? You know, it doesn't have to be you doing the keynote. You don't go from 0 to 100, but you can go from 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Incremental steps. I want to get you like excited to look about, where can I raise my hand? How can I step into life? And I'm going to give you a chance to make 2 promises at the end of this workshop. One to yourself and one to your board of directors. And you don't have to, this is all bonus, but I invite you to take on these bonus homework assignments, because you can start to create results next week out of what we do this week. And I would love it if you supported each other this fall. So that's why we're doing this workshop. And as I'm about to say, and it was alluded to earlier in the answers you gave, why are you asking me to do this, boss? What do you want me to talk about? Why and what? Leaders never start talking without clarity about why they're talking and what they are leading people towards. Because leadership is about convincing, persuading, influencing. It's about getting an idea in front of people where they look at the idea and go, I want to support that. That's what leaders do. All right, so we're going to do a little quick poll. You're going to give yourself a grade. Who hates? If you hate speaking in public, it's a 0. If you love it, it's a 10. If you're somewhere in the middle, okay? So on page 2, just write it down on a piece of paper somewhere. Give yourself a grade now, and you're going to give yourself another grade 3 hours from now. Okay, write down your grade. Where are you about speaking in public? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, no bad answers. Just give yourself a grade. We're going to see if we can move that up. UCLA is a laboratory. Your career is the experiment. Right? This is a safe space to try new stuff. You're going to give these speeches. They may be the worst speeches in the history of the planet, and it'll be fine. You got to start somewhere. Some of you might have looked at that scale and said, I'm a -1. Fine. It's all good. You got to start somewhere. All of us start somewhere. This is a laboratory, and you get to bring your career into the laboratory and say, what else could be my career? Maybe I enhance this career. Maybe I switch to something new. Maybe I start my own thing. Maybe I take over the family business. Maybe I do some combination of all of that. It's your life. You get to say. Your only competition is in your chair. Who do I compare myself to? Me yesterday. That's the only thing. Me yesterday. Not me against you. If you compare yourself to all these people around here, it's easy to get a little bit overwhelmed, because there's wonderful people in your network now. So instead of being intimidated by them. I can just be excited. I know her. I'm connected to Michelle. Wow. Michelle Havens. Wow. I probably can't just email her out of the blue. I might need to ask Dylan to introduce me, but I'm like 1 degree of separation from the president of Northern Trust, Western Region. Wow, I wasn't that last Sunday afternoon. Now, Wednesday morning, I am. So I'm not intimidated by Michelle. I'm inspired by Michelle, okay? And I'm not competing with her. I'm competing with me. Okay, so here's our agenda. Got about an hour, 60, 70 minutes. We're going to give you the workbook, give you the toolkit, why, audience analysis, how to get my ideas out of my head. What do I do? How do I just I got all these random thoughts, get them out. How do I frame them? And then we're going to set you off into your group, and you're going to give your practice speech. And again, you're going to record it, and you're going to have that artifact so you can look at it Sunday afternoon. Then we'll take a little 10-minute break at the end of that, and then we'll come back together and we're going to debrief. Okay, what was that like for you? What'd you see? Then I'm going to give you 3 more tools that you don't have for the first speech. These tools you will have for the second speech. I'm going to give you something about executive presence, something about something called a speech act request. Then we're going to send you back to your group, and you're going to do the second speech, and you're going to change one thing about your executive presence, and your group's going to see if they can guess what you changed. Then we're going to come back together. We're going to debrief again. Then we're going to do the promises looking forward, promise you can make to yourself, promise you can make to your board of directors, and no later than 12:30 we'll get done. If we can get done sooner, we'll get done sooner, and then you'll have lunch. So that's our agenda. All right, any questions about anything before I continue? Okay, great. Okay, today's a workshop. In the future, you're going to have whole classes. Here's a couple of the classes you can take. These are listed on page 2. Negotiations behavior. We have several professors who are excellent in that. Persuasion and influence, patterns of problem solving, strategic business communications, storytelling, that's built into the Global Access Program, managerial interpersonal communication, advanced management communications. So when you get to the second half of FEMBA, you get 9 electives. You could do 1, 2, 3, or 4, as many as you want. But those don't start until winter of your second year. So today, this workshop, I want to jumpstart. I want to give you enough of a quick hit that you can already start practicing speaking newly as a professional. But in the future, you can go total deep dive, 4 units of credit per course, lots of options. So you're going to write and give a speech. So this was said in the answers earlier. I think Nahal said it first. Why am I speaking? Okay, what do you want me to accomplish? Start with why. Okay, executives never waste a moment at the microphone. Don't waste a moment at the microphone. If you can't forward the conversation, then delegate to somebody else. Wow, I'm really honored that you would have me be the speaker, but you know what? I don't have anything to say on that topic. Why don't we give that opportunity to Susan? I think it'd be a great stretch for her. Then all of a sudden you're generous, you're not wasting the moment, and you're helping Susan grow her career. But if you do have something to say, if you know why you want to take that moment and you know what you want to accomplish, then you step into that moment. And I want you empowered to do that. So the first thing we do on page 3, you can, if you have to make a speech, you can take this PDF, print off a couple of these papers, just take 5 or 10 minutes, just sketch this out. Why do I need to speak? Well, the boss asked me to, and what he wants to do is to get us all excited about the new 2.0 software upgrade. But people have to change the check-in process, and they have to change the data reporting. And this speech is to empower them as to why it's worth it for them to do that. But he's got a sick child, so I got to give this speech. So that's why I'm speaking. And the call to action, so why am I speaking is at the top, and then what do I want to happen is at the bottom. They need to do 2 things. They need to upgrade the software, and they need to change how they do their reporting. And if they don't do that, their reports are going to start to be out of sync, and it's going to be a big mess. If they do that, they're going to actually get quicker feedback, and they're going to be able to make better calls to the customers. They're actually going to get better commissions. Okay, so audience analysis. Who am I talking to? What's in it for them? Are they pro? Are they con? Are they neutral? Right? I'm starting to get a sense of that with this page. Okay? Today, you are going to practice asking for something. And it's not going to be hypothetical. You're actually going to ask for something that you want. It can be professional, it can be personal, but it's something you want that one person has the authority to grant. Okay? So I don't want a hypothetical. Oh, I want world peace. No, I want to fix climate change. Nope, wrong. Those are lovely. Those are important, but they're too big. I want you to pick something very concrete. I want a 15% raise. I want a new puppy. Okay? Something very concrete. You have the raise, yes or no? You have the puppy, yes or no? Okay? And I want you to practice asking. Okay? Both speeches, first and second, you're going to ask for something. Same thing like before. Some of you hate to ask for stuff. Me, I'm from Texas. I'm from the South. We don't talk straight in the South. We talk around stuff. How are you doing? I'm fine. How are you? My house could be on fire, and I'm still going to say, I'm fine, because that's my cultural starting point. My wife is from New Jersey. If you've ever married somebody from New Jersey, she's like a cruise missile to the heart. I never, ever wonder what my wife wants. She loves to ask for what she wants, and she's good at getting it because she's very clear, concise, and precise. So I hate to ask for stuff. Other people love to ask for stuff. We're on that spectrum. So we're going to practice asking. Executives are always asking for stuff. Leaders ask. Asking is what leaders do. Asking is a superpower. You don't think it's a superpower? You know who the best askers in the world are, don't you? Kids, little kids. I have a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old. And all they do is ask for stuff. This morning, I'm trying to get ready. We have roofers. I have no roof on my house right now. I'm trying to wait for the guy to get there because I need to talk to him. And Jackson, my 13-year-old, it's not Call of Duty. I don't know. It's Cold War. I don't know. He's got Call of Duty. Now he wants Cold War. And it doesn't matter that this is like a super important day in my life. Doesn't matter. He's going to ask for it now because he wants it now because he wants it now. And children have superpower, right? And they wear us down. They take us old adults and they just grind us to a nub and they get what they want. I'm going to teach you the grown-up way to ask for what you want. And asking is a superpower because let's just check. Anybody able to read my mind right now? Go ahead. You get $1 million if anybody can read my mind. Raise your hand if you think you know what I'm thinking. Fen, I see your hand up. I don't know if that's a leftover hand from earlier. Fen, can you tell me what I'm thinking right now?
Actually, that's like a raised hand from, you can ignore that one.
I can ignore that one. All right, look, guys, I got $1 million. Somebody just read my mind right now. Raise your hand, you get $1 million. That's the point. None of us can read each other's mind. People can't give us what we want if they don't hear us ask for what it is. So asking is a superpower. All right, these are my 3 regrets from my MBA. All 3 of these did not have to happen if I'd asked. So number 1, we had a professor, those of you who know finance, Eugene Fama was teaching at my school. Eugene Fama, I have my concentrations are marketing and finance, but I chickened out. I was a big chicken. I did not take Eugene Fama because he's really tough, really smart. Everybody said the reading list was too hard. And I was like, I don't want to get a C. I would have gotten a C from a Nobel Prize winner. But I didn't do it because I chickened out. I was more worried about my stupid grades, which no one has ever asked me about my GPA for my MBA, ever. I could have taken a class with a Nobel Prize winner and I chickened out. And what did I need to ask for? Just could have asked any of the bazillion smart people around me if they'd kind of help me out. All I had to do, hey, I want to take that class. Are you taking that? Can I kind of lean on you a little bit? I mean, I won't be a drag, but I'm just like a little scared. But I so want to hear what he has to say. I did not ask. I did not get. My grandma, number 2. I don't know. I think my grandma was somewhat affluent, not like anything special, but like I could have asked, hey, grandma, would you help pay for a little bit of my MBA? This is kind of expensive. She could have said yes. She could have said no, but I didn't even ask. Just too chicken. Oh, I don't want to talk about money. Asking is not anything other than asking. But I didn't have a good muscle at that because I don't have that muscle yet in my life. And then the last one, this is the one that really drives me crazy. A bunch of my friends from school, they said, let's go on an Africa safari, like 12 or 14 days. And it was going to be like $6,500, which, you know, this is 1995. I just borrowed all the money to get my MBA. And I was just like, I've borrowed so much money. I didn't borrow any money in undergrad. I've never borrowed this much money. How am I ever going to pay this back? It's too rich. I'll go to Africa later. You know, what do they say about someday? Have you ever seen a calendar that's got someday on it? Doesn't exist. It's 26 years later. I've never been to Africa. You know, if I'd asked the financial aid team, they would have said, well, you can take loans for it. You're still within the window. You're amortizing it over 15 years anyway. Maybe you want to do that. So asking is a superpower. And one of the ways you avoid regrets in life is you ask. Ask for support. Go try the thing that scares you. But don't do it by yourself. Ask. Ask. All right. A-S-K to G-E-T. Isn't that cute? Speaking and asking can be practiced. So 1,000 days. Not 1,000 days anymore. You got 998 days, right? A little bit better every day for 1,000 days. You can be a totally different version of yourself. You can reinvent yourself while you're here. I love this one. You know, everybody wants six-pack abs, right? You don't go to the gym once. I go to the gym, do 100 sit-ups. Do I have six-pack abs? No. Slow and steady, right? Change my diet, change my exercise. It's that thing about New Year's resolutions. This year, I'm going to join the gym. I joined the gym. And then St. Patrick's Day comes around, and I'm like, I don't even know where my gym card is. Or that's the way not to do it. The way to do it is what you're doing now. Put yourself in a structure where everything is going to be keeping you going. The faculty want you to win. The staff wants you to win. Your board of directors wants you to win. Now you get where you're going. Okay, but you got to be patient. None of this happens overnight. Okay, this is what we're looking for you. We want you to have some wow MBA results. There's all that incremental, and then there's these moments where it all comes together. And you get that stair-step experience, like, oh my God, I'm not back there anymore. I'm over here. This thing is really working. But you got to put in the effort. You got to do all the incremental to get to those wow results. So here's a couple of mine that really like, oh my God, this thing really worked. So two results out of my MBA. One was my first job. I got hired by Siemens. And if you don't know my story, I had 36 no's. 36 different companies turned me down during on-campus recruiting. 36. 37 said yes. Number 37 said yes. And it was this company, Siemens. It's a German electronics company. And I got to go to Santa Clara, San Jose, Santa Clara, to this US subsidiary of Siemens. First wow MBA result was that I got hired to that company. Then when I got there, I did everything I could do to get a promotion to Germany. And what I did was ask and ask and ask. I asked anybody who would listen. I told everybody I wanted to go to Germany. I bought German tapes. I listened to them in the car between Palo Alto and Santa Clara, up and down the 101, listening to German tapes. I went to the airport and picked up German executives. I took German class on Tuesday night. I had a German girlfriend for a while. I was all in, and I was asking anybody who would listen if I could go to Germany. And 2 years into my time in Santa Clara, I got this killer envelope in the mail. We'd like to bring you to Munich for a 3-year delegation. It was incredible. I got paid to live in Europe for 3 years. And the way I got to it was I got over all my little whininess about I'm not going to ask, and I started learning how to ask. I was not graceful. I was not cool. I probably looked like a goof, but I was practicing and I was getting better. And I got the result. And that's what I want for you. I want you to start practicing, even if you feel like a goof. It's okay. You're practicing. You're learning. Everything's not perfect at first, but you don't quit. You keep going and you get results. So So this is Dylan's little fiscal life from undergrad to from 91 to 97, first 6 years of my career. I graduated from Texas A&M. I had no debt. I paid for all my debt with scholarships. Yay. I also had no idea how to get a real job. So I was a college recruiter for a year, made $16,800. Thought, can't make a living on that. Going to go get a master's degree. I borrowed $79,000 to get my MBA, tuition fees, room and board, right? Then when I got that job at Siemens, I'm in Santa Clara, 1995, I'm making $55,000. So wow, I tripled my before to after salary. That's cool. That's improvement. That's progress. Then I worked for 2 years. I got the promotion to Germany. I got a cost of living allowance. I got a corporate apartment. My pay stub after all the withholdings from Santa Clara to Munich doubled. It was the best thing ever. I paid off half of my loans, right? Neither of those outcomes. I could have never gotten a job at Siemens without the MBA, and I could not have gotten the promotion to Munich without the MBA and without being able to ask. That's the point of this slide. You're doing the first thing, you're getting the MBA. Now we're going to do the next thing, get you really good at asking for what you want. All right. So we're going to practice asking, and we're going to ask for something you want. So now I want to hear from some of you. I want some examples. Raise your hand. I want something that you want, and these are the criteria. It's something that if you got it, your eyebrows would go up and down. Your smile would light up. It's real. I want a puppy. It's something real. I want a specific something, and it's something that one person can grant you. So show me some blue hands, and I'll call on you. All right, Sophia S. Tell me, please, what is something that Sophia would want?
Yeah, Sophia Santos here. And as a new Amazonian of 2 months, I want a mentor, someone who is familiar with my line of business, which is entertainment and video products, and a second mentor that's familiar with my company, but outside of video entertainment.
Beautiful. Okay, so let me just refine that just a little bit. That is perfect. I want a mentor, and you have some criteria of what type mentor you want. So what I for the purpose of this exercise, I love it. I love the topic. Now I'm just trying to do the second half, which is, and one person could grant it. So I'm trying to figure out how to make it fit within what I'm trying to set up for the exercise. Do you have a person in mind? Do you already have someone who matches those criteria, Sophia?
I do. So I'll repeat. I want a mentor, and a person who I've connected with can grant that to me by agreeing to be my mentor.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Because, yeah, so I'm going to pick an imaginary name, Susan. I want Susan to be my mentor. Perfect. Okay. Does everybody get what I'm starting to point at? And let me ask this, Sophia. If this person said that they would be your mentor, would it make you smile? Would you be like the Amazon box with the big smile?
Absolutely.
Perfect example. That's what I want. And nobody else knows what makes us happy. Nobody else really knows. We can guess. Here, you want this? You ever notice when people give you something you don't want? Even if it's something cool, it's like, thanks, right? But this person, if this person is a mentor for Sophia, that works for her. Perfect example. Jessica T is next. Jessica T, what's an example of something specific you want?
I want to be able to craft my something that I want to my boss and justify a promotion.
Excellent. So you want a promotion and your boss can grant that. Is that accurate?
I definitely hope so.
Well, this is a good thing. Because sometimes a boss can grant a promotion and sometimes a boss cannot. Sometimes they have to go talk to their boss. Sometimes they have to talk to HR. So just kind of tighten it up a tiny bit for the purpose of this, because I want something that person can say yes or no to. So they have to have the authority. Like in Sophia's example, that person could say, yes, I'm going to be your mentor. That person could say, no, I'm not going to be your mentor, because they don't have to ask anybody's permission. Does that make sense?
Definitely. I would say I would want my boss to consider sponsoring me for a promotion.
Great. Perfect. Okay, perfect. Because they can say yes to that. Yes or no. Okay, perfect. Let me do one more. I'm just going down the list. Emily D. Okay, yeah, maybe I'll do two more. Emily D. What is something specific that you want that would make you smile?
I want the CCO to give me a 15% raise.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And does the CCO have the authority to grant that?
Yes.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, I'm not going to call. Let me just, well, I don't know how to do this. I want a personal one. We've got 3 great professional ones up on the mat. I'd like a personal example for someone. You don't have to overshare, but I'd like something that's not a work ask. Does anybody have one of those? You can raise your hand if yours was professional, and I'll see who's left. Sandy, do you have one that's a personal?
Hi, Dylan. Thanks. Yeah, I do have something that's personal. I want to buy my mom a house.
Okay.
Because she's worked really hard to take care of my siblings and I.
That, you're going to make me cry. Okay. But for the purpose of this, who do you have to ask to buy your mom a house?
I guess myself.
Okay. That's a little bit, that might make the example a little bit philosophical. Can you think of something maybe one level smaller than that? I'm looking for something like yesterday we had a person who wants to have a second child and he wants to ask his partner, hey, can we have another baby? Right? And it was pretty obvious that the partner either has to,
okay,
like that person has to say yes, right? So I'm looking for something that the authority rights do not live within you. That sounds like kind of, wow, Sandy has to kind of, I know my heart's a yes, but now I got to get my brain and my checkbook. So that's not quite the example. I want something, because the authority rights sound like live within you, Sandy. And I'm looking for something where the authority rights live with another person.
Yeah, I don't think I have a good personal one. I'm sorry, Dylan.
No worries. No worries. Perfect. You're helping everybody, because everybody, and don't overthink this. Just something I want that would make me, like I want an Audi TT. If I got an Audi, well, that's not even perfect either, because then it's, can I afford it?
Yeah, because I want an Audi R8 and a McLaren, but I don't think it also requires money, right? So
yeah, that's the problem with those examples. I want something that someone in my life could, if they said yes, I could get it. Okay, so just keep looking. Okay, and if you do they don't have to be personal. I just wanted to get an example in front of everybody. Okay, let me see. Emily D. Thank you, Sandy. Emily D. Do you have a personal example?
That was me prior. I had the professional.
Oh, excuse me. I called on you twice. Okay. I'm seeing the same blue hand. Sarah, I have not called on you yet. Sarah, have I?
Hi, Dylan. Good morning. So yeah, I do have something personal that I'd like to ask for, but I've been a little bit shy / conscious of. The apartment right next to me just got rented out for a lot cheaper than what I rented mine's out for, even though the specs are exactly the same. But I rented mine pre-COVID, obviously, and now, so because of how the market unfortunately, how things kind of played out, so they had to drop prices to make it more competitive. So my neighbor has just gotten his new apartment for a lot cheaper than mine, and I kind of want to reach out to the manager of the management company and let him know that that's not really fair, but I don't think he thought we would find out. And of course not. All my neighbors know this price change. And so now me and some of my neighbors want to go in and negotiate, but we want to do it in a respectful way and an intelligent way, I guess. So I'm still planning that, but I think I do want to ask for it directly because it would help a lot with my finances.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. And if you got a if you got a rent adjustment down, would that make you smile?
Yes, it would make me smile very much, Dylan.
Beautiful. And do you know the person in the authority chain who has the ability to grant that?
Yes, I do.
Perfect example. Thank you. All I want is, for the purposes of this, is just try to bring it all the way down to, this is something that I want, that if I got it, I'd be fulfilled, and there's one person with the authority rights to grant it. Okay, so so I hope everybody is getting one, because that's the point. And there's no right or wrong answer on this. But it's personal to you. Like, I didn't know, you know, Sophie and I talked over the summer. I knew she was going to Amazon. I did not know she wanted a mentor. Okay, so like, we think we know what people are about, but we don't really know until they take the time to tell us. So there's a person at Amazon who doesn't even know it yet, but that person is being looked at like, wow, I want to be professionally connected with that person by this person. And once this person tells me that, then I have the ability to either say yes or no. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, something specific. So on page 3, you know, the audience analysis, for the purpose of what we're doing today, you're going to talk to your board of directors. Why you're talking to them is because you're something that you want, and the call to action is going to be, you're going to ask them if they'll give it to you. Okay, so if you haven't printed this off, no worries, just write it on a piece of paper. What is something I want? Who am I talking to who could give me that? And what is it that I want them to do? Say yes to the tuition reimbursement. Say yes to the raise. Say yes to being my mentor. Say yes to lowering my rent in my apartment. Okay? So take a second, write that down. Okay. Now, you don't just walk in there and say, I want a raise, right? Your chances of success are a little lower compared to if you walk in there and you're professional and you've done a little bit of groundwork and practice before. So that's what page 4 is about. And we talked about this a tiny bit earlier. Who's my audience? Who am I addressing? So just you can, again, before you have an important conversation, print this off and just write these things down. Who am I talking to? What's my topic? What is in it for them to listen to me? What is their point of view? Are they pro? Are they con? Are they neutral? Are they uninformed? Is this a new topic to them? Are they hostile? Do they not like this topic? You may not get it right perfectly, but it's good to get a sense. I don't know, maybe the person who runs the apartment complex, maybe that person has an incentive from the government to give away COVID dollars. Who knows, right? We don't know until we ask, right? And maybe Sarah's a great tenant, and maybe it's way more valuable for them to keep Sarah happy in that spot than to lose her for $300 a month, right? Maybe it's still a good win because he's got friends who run the building down the street and they've got like 8% vacancy, 18% vacancy, 28% vacancy, and we're not going to let that happen. I know this is a great tenant. I want to keep her here. I want to keep her happy. But Sarah doesn't know that until she asks, right? So, but we can think about it in advance, like what's their point of view? Where and how am I going to talk to them? Is this something I can do over the phone? Is this something we can do over Zoom? Or is this worth it to have a face-to-face meeting, even a socially distant, right? Because if it's important, you want to set the stage. You don't want to just hope to run into them in the parking lot. You really want to schedule the meeting. Get on their calendar, okay? When are we going to speak? How long will we have? Plan for the worst. In our little speech today, you're going to make a 2 to 3 minute speech. You're going to have a first main point and a second main point, right? Very often we say, put the strongest main point first. And there's several reasons to do that. One is that busy people very often get interrupted. You can wait 6 months to get on the calendar with the senior vice president, and then 15 minutes into the meeting, you got 30 minutes, you waited 6 weeks. I may have said 6 months. You got 30 minutes, you wait 6 weeks, and 15 minutes into this 30-minute appointment, she gets called away, and you don't even get to do the second half of your conversation. So you want to get your ask up on the table, get it up there quickly. Okay, remember that the big person's delegate can still represent what you represent. That's another thing. Sometimes, letting other people know what the topic is, they can fill in the rest if the executive has to leave. Okay, so that's a little bit, again, this is super quick, but taking the time, why am I in the room? What am I asking for? That's page 3. What do I want? What's the call to action I have for them? And then page 4, who are they? What's my topic? Where and how are we going to speak? When are we going to speak? Okay, now we're going to do idea clustering, and this is so fun. Roy, well, anyway, if you take that URL, if somebody could type that URL in the chat, I would appreciate it for everyone. If you have a Sharpie and a Post-it pad, I'm going to just show this physically, but you can do the same thing with Notely, or you can use Google Stickies or whatever. There's lots of, but what I want you to do is I want you to just dump all those good ideas about this topic. I want you to just dump them onto a Post-it. One idea per Post-it. So I want a raise. Our company believes in continual learning. That's a second Post-it. My boss told me he would support me. That's a third Post-it. Raise would help me get a new car. That's a fourth Post-it. I haven't had a raise in 18 months. That's a fifth Post-it. We believe in continual learning, and I want to practice what we preach. That's a sixth Post-it. So all I want you to do is just don't filter anything, don't evaluate anything, no bad ideas. I'm going to be quiet for about 2 minutes, and I want you to get 10 or 15 Post-its about your topic. Okay? I want to keep living in this apartment complex. I don't want to leave. I really like it here. I know that COVID has had you lower the rents. I feel like this is fair. Okay, just get the ideas, okay? So you're going to end up, if you're doing the Notely thing, Roy, thank you so much. If you go to Notely, just do about 10 or 15 of those, one idea per Post-it, no particular order. All right, 1, 2, 3, go. No bad ideas. All right, just start to look up when you're done. We'll do a little bit more. You can keep adding to this. I'm reading all the notes you put in the chats. I can't read the chats and do it at the same time. So I get out of sync with the chats, but these are fun. I love that you guys are calculating what my salary would be in today's dollars. I was not the most well-paid person out of my class. I was very, very green when I got my MBA, but you got to start somewhere. Okay, so what you should have at this point in the workshop is you should have between 10 and 15 ideas. They don't all have to be great, but you're just getting the ideas out of your head, because a lot of when you have to speak powerfully and professionally and you're in a hurry, you don't have time to write it all out and it come out all perfect. So getting one idea per Post-it, you can move them around, okay? And that's what's great, and that's what we're going to do next. We're going to practice how do we cluster, how do we organize, and how do we evaluate these ideas. So, oh, I was supposed to have this on the last one. Anyway, okay, so this is what you wanted. One idea per sticky, 10 to 15 total, no bad ideas, no self-criticism. The glue towards you, if you're using the paper one, you want the glue down, because then it kind of looks up at you and it's easier when you're giving your speech, you can glance down and see it. Okay, so now we're going to take this random set of 10 or 15 Post-its, and I want you to organize them. If you're using paper, it's going to end up looking like this. This is a speech. This is not a speech. This is a meeting I had with Al Osborne, who was our interim dean last year, on August 3rd, 2018, about being a leader. This is this project that I work with some faculty across campus. It's where we did the leadership labs. And this was my thank you after we had the big conference. Thank you for helping us launch our 6-day course. This is reciprocity. We're coming to you to say thank you. Warren Bennis from USC, Michael Jensen from Harvard. They're trying to build a new kind of human. The purpose is to lead people being a leader, exercising leadership as a natural self-expression. So I just, as I sat in Dean Osborne's office, I just had this open and I could just glance down, and it's left to right. This is a topic, this is a topic, and then this is a topic, right? The Terasaki Research Institute, this really connects back to John Wooden and his leadership principles, and then the names of the 3 FEMBAs who were in the pilot conference that we had that summer. So this is a literal speech, and it looks like that. You know, it doesn't look like a speech, but when you're nervous, all you got to do is glance. You just glance, and you've looked at this a couple times and you've practiced with it. So this is a physical version. You could have a digital version, but what's fun is when I'm sitting in the waiting area and his assistant says, oh, he's on a call, it's going to be 10 minutes. I can just kind of, I'm like, is this as good? Oh, take this one out. I want to move this one over. Okay. It's portable. I can put it under my arm. I can walk into a room. I can have, you know, my glass of wine over here, and I'm shaking hands over here. And I've got my speech. We'd like to now bring our keynote up to the podium. Dylan Stafford will be talking to us about his ideas on education in the 21st century. Go to the microphone, you open it up. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dylan Stafford, and mostly I get to make eye contact, and yet all my ideas are right there, okay? So this is what it physically looks like, but what we're gonna do right now is just, I want you to kind of have a left half and a right half. I want you to take your Post-its. On the left, that's your first main point. On the right, that's your second main point. Okay, and I want you to kind of put stronger ideas high and maybe weaker ideas low, because you don't have to use every Post-it. Now we're going to kind of, we're going to create a frame. This is the first thing I'm talking about. This is the second thing I'm talking about. And this is another example. I just tried to show you one. This is me at Palooza a few years ago. That's my little son, Christian. As you can tell, he's got the microphone. But if you look at the Post-its, if you look at the Post-its in my hand, I can zoom in. That was my speech. Welcome to FEMBA-Palooza, the biggest ever. My name's Dylan. I'm assistant dean, right? That was the middle column. Excuse me, that was the left column. The middle column, you know, have fun today, connect, reconnect, play the FEMBA Fusion game. And then the far right column, I want to thank DJ X, Francisco Xavier. We have 20 years of alumni here. I want to thank Christy Raymond, Maureen, Matt, Vanessa, and Cynthia. And then the bottom right, that was my call to action. I want to give it to Margaret Shee, okay? This is me making a speech in Corn Hall. Here I'm mobile. I'm not on stage. I'm walking downstairs. I've got a cordless mic, but there's the speech, right? Don't trip, don't fall, don't embarrass yourself, but be out with the audience, dance, keep their attention, keep them awake. So this really works. So this is what I want you to do now. Take another minute or so. Doesn't even have to take long. Left side of the page is your first main point. Here's what's good about the company supporting young professionals like myself. And then the second main point, this is what's good for me if you grant me this raise. Okay, maybe those are your 2 main points if you're asking for a raise. Okay, stronger ideas up, weaker ideas lower. You can even take some ideas, just take them off altogether, put them in a parking lot. They don't even make the cut. All right, let's frame your message. Take about a minute to do that.
Dylan?
Yes.
So are we framing the message like we are talking to that person?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. You're gonna tell the people who they are. You all are my boss. Her name is Susan. You all are my wife. Her name is Marissa. You all are my apartment manager. His name is Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great question, Pravina. Thank you. Any other questions about any of this?
Dylan, I'm sorry if I missed this instruction. Is this about pitching something that we want to someone else, or is it like a literal business problem? Because I was going to do that, but now
for what you're going to do in just a couple minutes, ask for something you want.
Okay, so it's all about you. Okay. Okay.
Totally. Yeah. Just no hypothetical. This is something that Michael wants, and it doesn't have to be big. It can be small, but it's something that if you got it, you'd be glad you got it.
Dylan, I know we started with asking for, was it 10, 12 different things? At this point, are we condensing that into one or two things?
I apologize if I was not clear. You're asking for one thing.
Okay.
You're asking for one thing. And like sometimes when we start thinking, like we know what we want, but we don't know how to ask for it yet. So these 10 to 15 Post-its, these are just the different ideas that are in my head. So how do you pronounce your name? Is it?
Riyasat.
So Riyasat, what is it that you would like to ask for?
I know my manager, my senior director has all sorts of connections in my company. He's worked in marketing, he worked in management.
Great.
And he's already promoted me twice in the last 3 years. And
good. I like this guy.
I don't think this is going to be the best time to ask for the third one. So but I would like him to connect me to, some of the people that he knows across the company.
Great. Okay, good. So you're in the right ballpark. So I would just say, tighten it up a little bit. Who's the person you would most like to be connected with?
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
I don't have a person in mind yet, but I know the functions.
Okay, well then maybe the question is, I just want it to be very specific. It's a binary thing. He can say yes or no. So when we walk in, we say, hey, could you help me? People say, well, of course I can help you. What do you need? So we need to be able to tell them, I would like you to connect me with the senior director of blank.
Okay.
Right? And then, so that's the one thing you're asking for. And then Riyasat, it's like, you may have some different ideas. Like, I don't want to be a bother. That could be a Post-it. I really respect you. That could be a Post-it. Thank you so much for those 2 promotions. That could be a Post-it. I'm not asking for a promotion. Don't get nervous. That could be a Post-it, right? You've just got all these ideas and you're just going to kind of put them around so that when you're going to put them in a frame so that when you walk in there, you already know where you want the conversation to go. Does that make sense?
Yep. Understood. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you for the clarity. Okay. Let's see. I see a couple more hands. Are they clarifying questions or did I get your questions answered? Jackie, what was your question, please?
Hi, nice to meet you, Dylan. I just was wondering if you had some sort of guide on like how you would really categorize your sticky notes, because I know in this example here there are some sticky notes that are kind of the same, like you have hard evidence in point 1 and point 2, right. And I'm wondering if we should be thinking about point 2 as sort of like the anchor in a I forget the name of the type of race, but basically the person who finishes the race in a team race, basically Beautiful. Your backup points kind of
yeah
thing.
And thank you. I didn't even mention hard and soft evidence. Thank you, Jackie. I'm not even reading my own slide. Hard evidence, statistics, data, research. Soft evidence, stories, emotions, moods, poetry, song. Different people want to hear different things, and it's great to use a blend of those. So this is all just a super quick guide. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And a lot of it goes back to your audience. Some people, just the facts. Other people are all about relationship. So, just have fun with it. You're also going to do it twice, Jackie, so you can adjust. And every idea that comes out of my head doesn't automatically make the cut. This is just a method to get ourselves started. Does that help?
Yes, okay. It does. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. I just want to stay on time, so let me take 1 or 2 more. Alex, what question do you have?
Yes, question. So my ask is I want to shadow the chair of our board of directors. I need to ask my CEO, but I don't want to offend him. So on main point 2, is there like a soft request, or how do I not offend him?
Okay. Yeah, I have no clue because I don't know the person, the context, the background of relatedness. So this is practice. This is the laboratory, right? So test it out. Tell your group mates, hey, you guys are this person, and try it with the first one and get some feedback, because it may be really offensive. It may be very bad. This may be a terrible rough draft. Okay. And they can say, wow, that came across a little hard, or it actually may be kind of in the middle, or it might be really good, but get some feedback. Okay. But just give yourself permission to fail. Don't have to do it right this first time. This is why you practice, and this is why you have a board of directors. All right, let me pause on the questions for now. Unless you have a deal breaker question that you don't, if you're just lost on the assignment, then keep your hand up. Otherwise, if you could lower your hand, let me just make sure, because I don't want anybody lost. Everybody, this is going to be fun.
Hey, Dylan,
Yes.
quick question.
You bet.
Is there like a time limit for this, I would say for this negotiation?
This is
Like,
just a practice speech, so 2 to 3 minutes.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah, this is not super long. So don't worry about getting this right. We're just getting started. Okay, Liam, I see one more hand. Liam. Okay, I'm gonna guess that is a false hand. Yoti, yes.
Yeah, it's Josie. Hi, Dylan. So I was gonna ask you if these points have to be in bullet or we can write some details to it.
I couldn't quite understand it. My speaker is small on this.
Okay, no, I'm asking if these points we are putting on these individual posters have to be detailed. Like for me, in my case, I'm gonna ask my manager for flexible hours, and I have something like I can be focused, when there's less commotion around me because everybody's working from home. So how do I put it? Does it have to be in bullet points, or I can write sentences there?
I recommend bullet points, and here is why. When we get nervous, the most effective communication is when we make eye contact with people. And when we get nervous, if we like, never give a speech off your phone, because you lose eye contact because it's so small. The reason to use something big and the reason to just put bullet points and the reason to use yellow and black, because yellow and black has good, strong contrast. You can really see all you need is just what's the noun. LA, Epicenter Leadership Laboratory. Like there's a whole paragraph that goes with that. If you try to write it out, then you'll quit talking to the person and you start reading to the person. And people don't like to be read to, they like to have conversations. So for practice, you could write the whole sentences, but when it's actually time to go into the meeting, my recommendation is to use short bullet points. Okay?
Got it. Thank you, Dylan.
Okay, we got to stop now. We got to keep going. So congratulations. Believe it or not, you've written a speech. It's not perfect. It's not Shakespeare, but you got to always start somewhere, and you've started. Okay, so we're about to send you into your groups, and you're going to have 5 minutes each. Okay, so let me show you how this is going to work. Oops, one thing. We're going to do, don't worry about going from no to yes. Don't worry about hitting a home run. Don't worry about all your dreams come true. Sometimes a good conversation is just a little bit above. Sometimes you can take a heck no and turn it into no. Or you can take no and turn it into maybe. You can take maybe and turn it into possibly. You can take possibly and turn it into yes. Okay? So I just want to remember, leaders are patient. You don't just say it once and everything happens. I asked to go to Germany for 2 years before I got to go to Germany. But it was worth not giving up, because when I got there, it really made a difference for my career. Okay? So big things, important things, sometimes we have to ask more than once. Okay? So just take the pressure off yourself. Constructive feedback. This is your board of directors. You all get to say how great your fall quarter is going to be by how you support each other. Okay? This is the diamonds polish diamonds thing. The only thing that's able to polish a diamond is another diamond. So when I let the excellence in me help the excellence in you, and you let the spark and the creativity of you light up the spark and the creativity of me, everyone wins. So here's how you're going to get feedback. If it's positive, I want you to say it like this. Here's what I saw that you did that really worked. I loved your passion. I loved the way you were so respectful. I actually loved the way you framed your argument. And then if there's something that you think could be improved, I want you to say it like this. Something that was missing that I think really could help is, I think that second point just sort of faded away. I didn't know when you were done. So I think you need a stronger conclusion, okay? But when you managers find what they look for. If you look for people's flaws and weaknesses, you're going to be surrounded by flawed, weak people. If you look for people's effort and their intelligence and their creativity, you are going to be surrounded by effortful, creative, intelligent people. So one of the things that we accidentally do, one of the pitfalls of feedback, is we give only negative feedback, and people quit sharing around us and they quit trusting us. So constructive feedback. I want you to practice that. So, and a quick word about this. I'm not talking about plagiarism. All right. Gonzalo will tell you that plagiarism will get you kicked out of grad school. You cannot steal people's intellectual property in grad school. It's illegal. But Steve Jobs loved to quote Picasso, good artists borrow and great artists steal. Remember, there's no one way to dance. There's no one way to be a leader. And you're going to see people dancing and leading. And you're going to say, I want to dance like that. I want to lead like that. So somebody in your group is going to do something you've never even thought of. And I want you to borrow that. Like try it on in the second speech. I want to introduce myself the way she did, or I want to set up the topic the way he did. Okay. So here is the assignment. You're going to have 30 minutes total. You're either in 5 or 6 person groups. If you're in a 6-person group, you get 5 minutes each. So the most important role is somebody's got to be timer. Take 5 seconds to figure that out. The person who's the timer is the person who has no problem saying, okay, 4 minutes, 1 minute left. Your time is over, moving to the next person. So I need somebody strong, bold, and confident who doesn't mind telling people that it's 5 minutes, okay? Because the timer keeps everybody on pace and makes sure everybody gets their full 5 minutes. You're going to go alphabetical by first name. So if your name is Abraham, you go in front of Bobby, you go in front of Carolyn, you go in front of Dylan, okay? A, B, C, D, alpha by first name. You're going to have the timer, and the timer is going to tell the person, okay, are you ready? And if you're the person, I want you to take your cell phone, I want you to put it on video, right? I want you to put it on mirror so you see yourself. And when you're ready, say, okay, I'm ready. The timer's going to say, oh, and if you're the person, you tell them who they are. Okay, you guys are my boss. Her name is Carla. Okay, you guys are my wife. Her name is Marissa. Okay, you guys are my sister. Her name is Susan. Okay, so you're just speaking, you are speaking to one person who has the authority rights to give you something you want. And you're going to ask for that. Okay, if it's a professional, if it's a professional situation, then the timer says, the board will see you now. The way the executive will say, the executive assistant say, okay, the SVP will see you now, and you walk in. All right. If it's a personal one, you say, just say go. All right. So you're going to give your speech. It's 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. You guys are my boss and her name is Susan. And then you're going to go, then you're going to receive constructive feedback. Everybody doesn't have to give feedback. If you have something to say that will help that person grow and develop, be generous, use constructive feedback like we showed on the slide back, right? Here's what I saw that worked. Here's something missing you might want to consider. Build people up, right? Practice being a manager who builds people up. And then the timer, okay, we've got 30 seconds. Okay, that's enough feedback. Moving on to the next person, all right? And the timer keeps us on. So 30 minutes total, and there's a 10-minute break built into the end, okay? So you got a little cushion. So it is now, Roy, let's touch base. What's the atomic clock say? It's 10:17, right?
Right, 10:17. The extra buffer time is also for your use as a break.
Right.
So don't go into the 40th minute thinking that you'll have a break afterwards. That is part of your break.
So we will come back at 17 plus 40 at 10:57. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. We will come back to the big room at 10:57. You're going into your fall quarter study group. This is your board of directors. You're going to ask for something you want. You're going to practice constructive feedback. You're going to give your very first MBA speech, and you're going to record it so you can see yourself later. 1, 2, 3, ready, go.
Jimmy, if you can hear me, could you please change your name so it includes your section and group number so I can assign you?
Okay, sorry, my bad. Actually, I included in my name. It's just too long.
Yeah, Jimmy, the naming convention will be Jimmy, then last name initial L, and then S is your section number, and then G would be your group number.
Okay. Thanks for bringing this up.
No problem. And Christine, I'm going to assign you. I don't think I assigned you. I apologize. There you are, Christine. And then Jimmy, I'm going to go ahead and sign you now. One moment. All right. Hi, Sophia. Hi. Okay, Jimmy, I've just sent you into group 9. And then Sophia, let me make sure. You may have already been assigned, Sophia, S5 group 10. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I think you're muted right now.
All right, are we not doing our, are we doing random groups?
No, we're in your learning group.
Okay, yeah, so I was not put in my learning group. I was put into section 2, but I'm section 1.
That's my fault. Okay, let me.
No worries, I was like, I think someone missed her. It's fine, thanks.
Oh, no, you know what? Yeah. The S's and the 5s look the same to me.
They look the same to everyone.
Oh, I see. Yeah, they do.
All right. I've now moved you over, I think. Try that. Sorry.
No worries. I got to speak to you.
You're too kind.
All right, so am I supposed to click on a pop-up?
You know, because you were already assigned and I just changed it, it should be in the lower right-hand corner or something like a breakout room on the very bottom.
Oh, breakout rooms. Yep.
Okay.
You have been assigned. Wonderful. All right, thanks, Roy. Nice to meet
Sure.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Dylan.
Hey, Sophia. Great to see you.
Good to see you too. I'll chat with you guys soon.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. But this is interesting. There's no timer. Usually there's a timer on top. So,
woo! All that standing.
Well, all the sitting for me, this is actually like after our call, I had to get up and do something because 20, 40, 4, 5, 6. I think you originally said 57 is the callback.
Yes, 10:17.
Yeah, I for whatever reason don't have a clock timer on my breakout rooms for the first time. I don't see it, so I don't know if I set the timer right. So just so you know, I'll have to manually close all the rooms. Would you like me to close the rooms in at 57? That's what you're saying. I was counting on a little counter timer thing on the top, but it didn't show up. So I think it's gonna be 57.
Yeah, why don't we leave them in their breakouts, and then they've got that cushion, and then they can just kind of do with it as they will, and then we'll just come back to the big room at 10:57.
Okay. All right.
All right. I'm gonna go wash my hands, and I'm gonna do the 20-minute thing. I was jammed up this morning with those roofers.
Oh, sure. Go for it. I'll monitor everything here.
Man, just thanks for being here. This is, I don't know. What a crazy summer,
Yeah.
But it's like all those conversations, all the work we did to navigate all these constraints. But it's like, for me right now, it's just so fulfilling. It's what I was saying yesterday, like we got to find what's that thing, like, let's just make sure that you go into this year with a couple of things where you get to just hit it, and maybe it's like, I was even thinking driving in this morning, like, would it be helpful to say to these folks, hey, there's going to be a lot of ways to participate. If diversity calls to you, like I was thinking I could introduce you and start building out some volunteers, Roy's really committed to Laba and Sherm, or Nashimba, or whichever ones we're gonna, like, I don't know, like.
Oh, there's Heather has this EDI fellowship team stuff that we're also working with. There's a lot of initiatives. So no, I appreciate that. Though. Go meditate. You're okay.
Okay, I'm just saying what's fun for me is I'm noticing, like, I think about, because Bonnie got me doing this, like all summer long, I know that I'm going to make that Monday speech. And all summer long, I know that I'm going to get to teach this workshop.
Mm.
And it's such it like reassures me at some level. Because I know no matter how everything goes, I know I'm going to get to make me, myself personally, one more contribution.
Coming into the room.
Oh.
Yep. Let's see. Raul, section 1. Hi, Raul. 1. Are you supposed to be in this session today?
No, it's not my mistake. It's a typo. It's section 2.
And I'll go ahead and assign you.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
All right, I'll be back in a few minutes, Roy. Hey, Rahul.
Hello.
I will be back.
Okay, you've been assigned, Raul. All right. Hi, Forrest. Did you get kicked out of your group?
I did. I don't know what happened, but my Zoom just closed on me. So
Oh,
is there any way it can be re-input back
yeah,
into the group?
of course. Unless, of course, they kicked you out because they didn't like you.
That's the situation. I don't know yet.
5, 6, 7, 8. All right. There you are. You should see an option below. Hi, Matt. Did you need to get put back in your group?
Hey, Roy, I'm just having a couple of tech issues. If I restart my computer and then hit the Zoom link again, will it?
It looks like on my side you have the ability to return back to that same room. This looks like you're signed. Yeah, there you are.
Okay. If it doesn't, yeah, it just might have some tech issues again. So if it does, I'm just going to restart my computer.
And then I'll just keep watching out for you. All right, Matt?
All right, cool. Thank you, Roy. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dylan, can I ask you a quick question before the session restarts?
Sure.
So basically, like public speaking isn't my thing. I basically that's the reason why I'm an accountant. But quick question is, I usually don't like to lead by example. I don't like to tell people what to do. I tell them what the tasks are, but I like to lead by showing them how hard I work. So I still do work as a staff accountant. Like I still do the reconciliations and the general journal entries, and I still lead my team. So but that's how I lead. I mean, I don't really like talk much. Like my meetings, they're no longer than 3 minutes. So I don't like, for me personally, yeah, that's just how I operate. So I just want to see what your take is.
Well, maybe we should talk after, because that's a wonderful topic, but it's time to start now. So,
okay.
But in broad strokes, hey, who I am today is not who I'm going to be tomorrow, is not who I'm going to be at the end of the first quarter. So everything that you've done to get you this far, congratulations, it's gotten you this far. You've become an accountant, you run 3-minute meetings, right? You have one operating style now, and that's wonderful. That's worked for you so far. Now you're going to add additional operating styles to your toolkit. So to be continued, Sam. Great question, right. But for now, we'll continue forward with this.
All right, thank you.
Breakout rooms have been closed, Dylan, and we'll just need you to reshare your screen.
Oops, I thought I did.
You were, but I switched it to a timer.
Okay.
And we never actually paused recording, so mental note.
I noticed that a little too late. Okay, is it sharing? Is it sharing, Roy? Okay. Okay, welcome back. Thank you for that question, Sam. Be happy to talk more offline. Okay, I'd like to see some blue hands. What did you see from doing your first stand and deliver? Raise your hand and I'll be happy to call on you. Lauren E., what did you see?
Everyone in our group, I was really impressed with just how easily their speech came to them. They had a lot of good points to make, and there wasn't a lot of feedback or improvements that we could give. I felt like everyone did a really great job.
Excellent. I love that. Now, some of you don't be stingy. Sometimes we can create such a nice atmosphere. I think Michelle talked about this last night. A little bit of, she had that funny word for it. I didn't write it down. Collaboration, no, carefrontation or something. So I'm glad you've got a great atmosphere, Lauren. And, do share with each other. If you see something, if I can make a contribution to somebody. But great, out of the gate. And I love the fact that it seemed effortless. Did I hear that right? People seem pretty at ease with it. That's the beauty of the Post-its is you don't have to get it right. It's just, it gets you, it's like a pathway. It's like stepping on stones through a pathway. Okay, thank you, Lauren, for getting us started. Austin S., what did you see?
Yeah, thanks, Dylan. Our group, again, I think everybody's presentation was really well done. I think the personal feedback that I received was to go a little bit slower. I think that was contingent on the fact that we had this kind of reduced time frame, and I was trying to present something that was a little bit more detailed in nature, and trying to get my ideas across quickly led to me speaking more rapidly and people not being able to digest all of that information.
Thank you, Austin. So pace, how much content do we try to, so as you walk into a moment, knowing the start and the end time, making my content fit within that constraint, being aware that we could start late, being aware that the executive could leave early. So, kind of, if I could only say the most important thing, what would that be? So it's like an accordion. We can go bigger, we can go smaller. And that's part of the dance of it. Okay. Also, I think I may have been a little confusing based on Riasat's question. You're asking for one thing. The Post-its are just your random ideas. You don't have to say all the Post-its. So for the purpose of this exercise, just practice asking for one thing, and get the ask complete within 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. So maybe even shrink the assignment down just a little bit so that you're not trying to give a 10-minute presentation in a 5-minute window. Okay, thank you, Austin. Kriti S. Kriti S.
Thanks, Owen. That's Kriti.
Sorry.
Kriti. No worries. So one of the key takeaways that I had from our group's discussion is the perception that people had. So your speech can be something, and your sticky notes can combine to be something in your head, but the way it's delivered and the way it lands on your audience is very important. And I guess the feedback that all of us received from each other was a lot from the third person's perspective, because they had no idea of what actually you were asking for versus, because it's the details are more intimate to you, right? But the way it lands and that third person perspective really helped in terms of clarifying, simplifying the ask, and getting good points for making the main point the star of your speech.
Excellent. And one of the things we're going to introduce for the second speech is what's called a speech act request. And it's going to give you a stronger way to end your speech. And all of you are going to notice it's going to end better the second time. People really do, like you said, appreciate clarity. Clarity really helps. What do you want from me? And then how can I interface with that request? So we're going to talk about that. Thank you, Kriti. Anything else?
No, I think those are the main points.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's do a couple more. Next, I see Rashik. Rashik.
Hi, Dylan. I think one of the biggest things that I've noticed is that since we're all coming from different backgrounds, sometimes trying to decipher and understand what the ask is might be a little hard depending on different industries and lingo. So I think one of the biggest feedbacks that we've been able to give is that we need to, because sometimes you're talking to a VP that might not be a software guy, or a VP that doesn't work directly in sales, so they might not know the lingo. Understanding and using context and words that they'll understand is probably one of the biggest things to add to a speech, as well as adding deliberate pauses to make sure that a speech doesn't continuously go on and on, so that someone loses interest.
Thank you, Rashik. That's excellent. And that's part of audience analysis. Understand, especially in a technical or domain specific, where there's a lot of term of art associated with it. Like when you hear professionals talk about their specific world, they use specialized terminology. So you don't want to talk down to people. People don't appreciate that. You want to match your language to the vocabulary that your audience has. And that's part of the audience analysis. Are these subject matter experts? Are these generalists? Or is this person a subject matter expert? Is this person a generalist? Excellent. And then you match to that. People appreciate being respected. And when people know that you've done your homework, you understand who they are, it starts to build trust, because they get, wow, Rashik came into this prepared. He knows, I could say, I'm not sure, I know you've been a senior vice president for a long time. This may be a little bit in the weeds compared to the big decisions you're used to making, but let me, you can kind of find out where they are. And he can say, oh no, I understand. Or he can say, oh no, tell me more. I haven't been tracking this for the last couple of years. And you can adjust. All right, let's do one more. Rahul H. Rahul, what did you see?
I saw we had some great speeches, and in every single case, someone was able to provide really useful feedback. And usually it was on stuff that the individual was kind of like, it was just an obvious blind spot. So even for the exercise, even just doing the exercise, you're going to find something, and that's incredibly helpful. Even if you think you got the speech completely 100% nailed, like someone will find something, and that can be incredibly useful.
Excellent. Thank you for being open to giving and receiving. Because if no one gives, there's nothing to receive. If no one is willing to receive, then the gift is irrelevant. So it's that flow. And I've been using the board of directors metaphor with you all this week. The other metaphor is, what does every Olympic athlete have in common? Do you know the answer, Raul?
That I believe they get a lot of advice from other athletes, people they compete with.
Every Olympic athlete has a coach. So, you know, you use the word blind spot. That's a beautiful word. Like, if I'm committed to excellence, then I'm humble enough to realize I have blind spots because of my cultural upbringing, my experiences to date, my education so far. No one can know everything. But Michael Jordan had a coach. Tiger Woods has a coach. LeBron James has a coach. The world's best athletes all have coaches. And that's what a coach is. A coach is someone who can offer you, hey, try this. Try to make this slight adjustment. You have a blind spot that you can't see because you're always you. But I'm over here looking at you from the third person. So that's how you can be for each other. You can be the board of directors. You can be, you know, coach sometimes has a hierarchy with it. So I like board of directors because it's more like a group of equals. Everybody has a right to be at the board table. So, but all of it is about being in the flow, giving and receiving with a commitment to excellence and where we could get. Okay, I won't take any more blue hands right now. Thank you for that. We're gonna move forward. We're gonna give you 3 things, and then you're gonna do the speech again. So I want to talk about 3 things right now. And great job. You made a speech, right? It's the morning of the 3rd day. You've already checked the box. I've already made a speech, not in the mirror, not to myself in practice, but to 4 or 5 other real human beings. Okay? You just did something. And even if it felt like a train wreck, right? It's okay. It's a dress rehearsal. It's a rough draft. It's practice. You don't get graded on practice. You get graded when you're on the court, when there's a scoreboard, when the lights are bright. But you practice before then, and you're practicing now. So good job. Okay, so what we're going to do now, 3 things. We're going to talk about executive presence, speech act request, and then about message framework. I'm going to call it good for you, good for me. Okay, so we're going to make 3 adjustments as we do our speech the second time. Sunday afternoon, I want you to watch the first video and go, good for you, Dylan. You did good. Look at you. It wasn't perfect, but look at you. You're on the court. You showed up. You're doing the drill. And then I want you to watch the second video and go, hey, you made progress. You made progress from 10:20 to 11:30. You took a stair step. And that was just with one little workshop. If I start looking for chances to speak in my career, little micro moments, think how much I could build over the next 995 days. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. So how many of you have ever heard, it gets said different ways, but something like the most important part of communication is not exactly the words, but rather how we are, our body language. How many of you just wave your hands at me? You ever heard something like body language speaks louder than the words that come out of our mouth? Anybody ever heard something like that? It gets said a lot, especially if you take a full course. And why I love it is because it's based on research, and because it's based on research that was done here at UCLA. So on page 8 of your workbook, you got a pie chart. On the slide in front of you, you have the same pie chart. The colors are different, but the pie chart is the same. Dr. Albert Mehrabian wrote this book, and it's called Silent Messages. And he was one of the pioneers in the research around interpersonal communication. And he's the guy in the early 80s who figured out, wow, yes, our words are important, but it's way more important how we say them, how we carry ourselves, our body language. And so when he did his early research, and it's been verified and tested in different ways, but the core of it has really shifted the world of professional communication, which is, yes, our words are important, but how we say them and how our body communicates actually does much more, and was said a moment ago, on the receiving side. So what I'm gonna just, and this is quick, this is a quick workshop, but for the purpose of this moment, I'm gonna say executive presence. Executive presence is something that we can each work on. And I'm gonna call executive presence that other, on this chart, it would be the other 93%. So 38% of how our communication comes across is our voice and our tone, and 55% of our communication is our body language, okay? So I'm gonna invite you in the second speech, I'm gonna invite you to change something about your executive presence. Don't tell your group mates what you changed, just change it. Austin, a moment ago, said he received feedback that his pace was pretty fast. He might change his pace. He might pull a little content out, give it a little bit of breathing room so that he could slow down a little, okay? Just as a thing that he might change. So let me give you some examples of executive presence. So let's go forward one page to page 9. So page 9 in your PDF are a list of about 25 elements of executive presence. And they're in these 4 main categories: point of view, body language, voice, eye contact, and clothing, and then just kind of a general attitude of start at 100%. So, and in the interest of time, I'm gonna hit this kind of quick. So point of view, what I have to say makes a difference. My voice matters. I am here on purpose. I'm accountable. I'm authorized. I care about this topic. I am not going to waste your time. This is important to me. I'm inviting you to consider that maybe it's important to you. Executives start with why. They know why they talk, and they know what they talk about. They know what the call to action is. Nobody can, you can't fake that. You're either committed or you're not. And you don't have to be committed. You have choice in life. But if you want to be a leader, if you want people to listen to you, I recommend you lead around a topic that matters to you, right? Like, and only you get to say, that's the creation of a career that you get to work on these years. Nobody knows what lights you up except you. And it takes a while to figure that out in life. That's the discernment that we go through in our 20s and our 30s, sometimes even into our 40s and beyond. And it's fun when life is a discovery. And what's at the end of that effort of discovery is your point of view. And it's that thing that makes you solid, heavy on your spot. So just give yourself permission to ask, do I really want to raise, or do I just think I want to raise? And if I really want to raise, why? Well, I've actually looked around. I've gotten some comparables from other companies. I've measured my results. I am clear that I add value. I'm not bragging. I'm just clear. It's hard, cold, measurable reality. I am competent, I am confident, and I am high energy. And I want to make a difference in life, and I want to be paid well for my time, right? You don't automatically have to say all that. It comes through in your executive presence. So your point of view. So you might just want to kind of dial into your topic. That could be something, and that's all like inside, but it actually comes outside because it comes through in your voice, in your tone, and in your body language. Okay, body language. All right, I promised you 2 things. Gonna lose 10 pounds and be taller. All right, here it is. This is super sophisticated. You're gonna be so amazed. All right, there it is. Oh, so exciting. Obviously not, right? So this was 1, and then there's this, right? So look at my head. Look at the top of my head compared to the top of the frame. Okay? This is bad posture, obviously, right? This is my tummy's out, my shoulders are down. Now, I adjust the small of my back, I pull my shoulders back, look at the top of my head. I just made myself an inch taller by having good posture. Look at it both ways, right? Like when you stand like this, your shoulders come in. When you stand like this, your shoulders go out, right? The triangle of shoulders to waist in a masculine frame, and it can have a different, because women have, you know, hips that are wider than men, but posture for any body shape, right? There's the front posture and there's the side posture. If I walk in like this, contrasted with, I walk in like this, good morning, right? I'm on my toes. My weight is evenly distributed. My shoulders are back. I'm making eye contact with the audience versus no eye contact, shoulders down, defensive posture. You know, this kind of posture, a woman might stand like this, a man might stand like this, you know, the military thing. None of that, right? There's nothing to defend. We're not soldiers. We're business professionals. We've earned this moment. We want to deliver this communication. We have something important to say, and our body is actually communicating that also. Okay, so it's just almost think about your body like it's not you. Like this is a puppet, and I get to tell this puppet what to do. I can't control how tall it is. I can't control how much pigment there is in that. I don't know what gender it is. Like all that stuff, I can't do anything about. But I can pull its shoulders back. I can tell its eyes to look into the eyes of my audience. I can wait for a second and create a pregnant pause and invite my audience, because I'm about to tell you the most important thing, right? I have control over all of that, and I can play with it, and I can practice, and I can experiment. And, you know, was said earlier, was it Sam, I think, said, you know, I have 3-minute meetings. You know, you may come out of FEMA and you may run a 10-minute meeting and you may blow their mind, right? Because you're practicing, you're trying new things, you're giving yourself permission to experiment. So body language, voice, eye contact, okay? All of those, that's an easy thing to change for your second speech. Pick one of those, but don't tell them, see if they can guess. I want to talk about dress for a second. Dress doesn't happen during the speech. It happens before the speech, right? I tried on my suit on Sunday, my Monday morning suit. That's my Navy, not Navy, that's my UCLA blue suit with the UCLA light blue shirt, with the yellow tie, with the light blue accents, with the brown leather shoes, with the matching brown belt. I'm on week 26 of COVID. I've been wearing shorts and UCLA polo shirts for 26 weeks. I actually did a dress rehearsal of my suit because I was worried. I was worried it might not buckle. I might not be able to button it because who knows? Maybe I've been eating a lot. I heard calories kill COVID, so I've been practicing a lot of calorie eating, right? But you guys, this is my 17th Leadership Foundation's welcome, but it's your one and only Leadership Foundation's welcome. So I want to honor that moment. I don't want to be distracted because I can't find my shoes or I can't find my belt or, oh my God, my clothes don't fit. I don't know if you all heard the Susan Francia drive time, our Olympic gold medalist, but she was the Global Access Program presenter for her team in 2018. And when she was in the Olympics in 2008 in Beijing, she had a very handsome custom-made suit built for her. And when she got to Gap, she hadn't tried the suit on for a while. And like 10 minutes before the Gap presentation, she blew a seam. She had a wardrobe malfunction. And she likes to joke about it because they were like literally stapling her clothes together before their Global Access Program presentation. 6 months of research, the moment, the judges, lights are on, video's running, and she had a wardrobe malfunction. And they literally had to staple her clothes together. So we have control over our clothes. Do your clothes match the moment? My wife, Marissa, is an executive consultant. In a good year, she makes a lot more money than me. This year, it's going to be tough because her business has slowed way down. She hired a color consultant 4 years ago. This person came to our home. She measured her skin color in the natural light. She measured her skin color in artificial light. She measured her in the summer. She measured her in the winter. Because, you know, human beings, all of us, our skin changes color depending on how much sunshine, right? So she got her makeup reset. They went into her closet. She took 18 bags of clothes to Goodwill over about 6 months and replaced all those old suits with modern suits that were great colors. And she has power suits. She has seal the deal colored suits. She has relationship building suits. You know, she has like the real, like, whoa, that's a C-suite person, right? She took me to Joseph A. Banks 3 years ago. All my old clothes, I had lots of pleats. I had lots of blouse. I had all these old suits. They were 10 years old. I didn't know. I don't know about stuff like that. We replaced all my suits with trimmer cuts, better colors. And it's fun and it feels right. And you always want to have a power suit. All of you, men, women, this is not about, you know, this is whatever your go-to, hire me, I am trustworthy. You want to have it back from the dry cleaner in the shrink wrap. You're getting an MBA. You don't know when the moment's going to show. And you want to have this stuff ready to go because executives walk in the door ready to go. I keep a suit and an extra shirt and an extra tie behind the door here in my office, right? Because you never know. So maybe what you want to do Saturday, whoo, I made it through Leadership Foundations. Maybe you want to go to Nordstrom or, you know, Stitch Fix, whichever one of these, you know, the online. Maybe it's time to go buy a new power suit, right? That might be your gift to yourself to say, good job, because you're going to need it over the next 3 years, more than once. Okay, so close. Dress for the job you want to get. Dress for the job you want to get. Dress for the speech you're going to make. People notice this stuff. If you're an engineer and I don't pay attention to that, talk to your group mates. Hey, I think I want to up my game a little bit. Does anybody here like clothes? Right? There are a lot of people who like clothes. This is LA. We do a lot of fashion here, right? You've got resources. Up your game. Okay, last thing. Notes. Every chance to speak is a chance to grow and expand. Begin with the strongest main point. I want to say more about that. You're building a relationship. Persuasion is always on a continuum. You don't have to go from no to yes. Sometimes you can go from no to maybe, and that's still a victory. Leaders use repeatable messages, right? I use things like diamonds polish diamonds. I say it more than once because I want you to remember it. I say the board of directors metaphor multiple times. I love to say it takes a village to raise a Femba because it's true for me. I don't say it because it's a catchphrase. I say it because it's true for me. Everybody I see who graduates here who's hugging and crying at graduation, they're hugging and crying their village. These folks who started out as acquaintances 2 days ago are going to be the beginnings of friendships come Friday afternoon. And it's only going to keep growing. Okay. So that's about executive presence. And then the last one down here, start at 100%. Basketball, go Lakers, right? The playoffs, basketball players, they don't warm up in the first quarter. They warm up before the game. So if you're going to speak, warm up beforehand. Get your thoughts together. Get your clothes right. Okay. Practice beforehand. Get there early. Expect the technology to be weird. I was here 6 hours on Saturday and about 9 hours on Sunday, getting ready for Monday. I'm using a loaner computer. I'm in my office, but I got all these crazy, you know, I got this Home Depot Ryobi light. You know, this stuff is it's pretty fancy, right? Is it going to work? It better work. I don't want it to mess up. Let me practice in advance. So all that stuff you have control over when you're a speaker. Make friends with the IT folks. There's always something. You need the wrong adapt. You got the wrong adapter. Get there early. Expect things to go wrong. Prepare in advance. Then you can work through all that. So executive presence. That's the first thing. Second thing, I'm going to now introduce. So I told you executive presence, body language. That's UCLA. That's Dr. Merabian. Now our sister up the way, University of California. This is John Searle. He is a deep thinker about human communication, an essay in the philosophy of language. He is the one who came up with the awareness that there's certain language that does not describe, but it actually calls forth. And he says that language that calls forth is a unique and very important and very powerful type of language. And it's a speech act. And I'm going to introduce one of these. It's called a request. So an hour ago, I told you that asking is a superpower, that children ask. And Dylan was like a child at Siemens. I want to go to Germany. 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 I just wore them down and they're like, send that boy to Germany, right? It's one way to do it. I'm going to give you an upgrade. So if asking is a superpower that children have, what's a superpower that grown-ups have? And I'm going to say it's a speech act request. So I'm going to introduce you to 2 sentences, and you have to do both of them, and it may feel awkward. It's like, people, I can't say that. That's not authentic. That's not me. I'm the coach. You are the Olympic athlete. Just trust the coach. For the second speech, trust the coach and try this out, even if it feels awkward. You know, in football, they run through the tires, right? If I'm a football player, I'm like, why am I running through tires? There are no tires on the field in the football game. I'm the coach. I say, I don't want to hear your opinion. Run through the tires. It'll help you during the game. So that's this. So even if this feels goofy, just try it. Okay. So here are the 2 sentences. You ready? Okay. This is how you're going to end your next speech. You're going to say these 2 sentences, and it's going to feel awkward, and that's okay. Just give it a try. So at the end, you're going to say, so I request that you fill in the blank by when. I request that you do something by a specific date. That's the first sentence. So I request that you submit the paperwork for me to receive that 15% raise that we agreed on by October 31st. Okay? I request that you do X by Y. Full stop, period. That's the first sentence. The second sentence is a question. Do you accept my request? Okay? That's weird language. That's not regular language. This is language that makes something happen. This is very, very powerful language. Okay? And it's awkward at first, but that's okay. I just want you to practice right now. You don't have to go do this to anybody this afternoon in real life. Just practice right now. We're in the laboratory. You're running an experiment. This is practice time. Okay? Now, after you make your request, this is what's very interesting. The person on the other side gets to say something. And there are 3 things that the person can say. They can say yes, they can say no, or they can counter offer. And this is the power of the request. It gets the conversation really moving. And it doesn't matter what they say, yes, no, or counter offer. Either and all are legitimate. Leaders are patient. I didn't say, I want to go to Germany, and they said yes. I asked for a long time, and I asked without this. So I just had to kind of wear them down. This would have been much cleaner. I request that I go to Germany by October 1st of 1997. Do you accept my request? Yes, no, or counteroffer. I didn't do it that way. I just kind of flailed about. This is more powerful. How do I know this is more powerful? Probably the very most important result in my life, it's hard to know exactly, but it's definitely in the top 3, happened for me because of this. So on this next slide, this is the power of a request. This is me on my wedding day. That's my wife, Marissa, that I've been telling you about. She wanted to take a picture with these faces. So we're out there on the dance floor. She's got the red nose and I've got the Groucho Marx. Okay? When she and I were dating, she did this to me. She said to me, after we'd been dating about 3 months, she said, Dylan, I request that you date me exclusively for 90 days. And then after that, we'll see if we want to keep dating or not. Do you accept my request? She said this to me. I am from the South. I'm from Texas. People don't talk like this where I am from. I thought this was a New Jersey thing. Later I learned, no, it was a speech act. It was a request, but I didn't know it at the time. Did it get my attention? You better believe it got my attention. I'd been dating, 16, 17 years. I was 32. I've been dating since what, 16? Yeah, about 16 years. I've dated a lot of wonderful human beings. No one ever talked to me like that. So now, audience participation. How many people, I'll just look at okay, let's do it this way. If you think I said yes raise your blue hand. We'll just see how many people think I said yes. What was my response? I see 3. Oh, I see a lot of blue hands. Okay. Great. Great. How many people think I said no? So lower your hand if you had it before, and then put it back up if you think I said no. Oh, Zoom may be too slow for this. Maybe we should do a different signal. Oh, I forgot. We could do the yes no thing.
Yeah, the yes thing.
Yeah, okay. So click the red X if you think I said no.
Can you see the results, Dylan, or do you want me to tell you?
No, yeah, they're coming up. I think they're just kind of slow.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thing yet.
Is there a different signal, Roy? Is there a different one? A third one?
There's the go faster, go slower.
Okay. If you think I made a counter offer, click the go slower button.
Oh, a lot of the yeses are going to the go slower. Sounds like they think you made a counter offer.
All right. The counter offer wins. Yeah, I made a counter offer. This is like the summer of 2001. I met my wife on May 12th, 2001. But on February 28th of 2001, I quit drinking. I said, I'm not going to drink anymore. And so I was starting a 12-step program, and I had a sponsor. And my sponsor said, here's the deal. Why don't you just try living for a year without alcohol, see if you can do it. Don't make any big decisions. Don't get a new job. Don't move. Definitely don't start a committed relationship. Just go for a year. So Marissa, this is, we met in May. She's probably asking me this in July or August. And I told her, hey, I think you're great. I really do. I really enjoy dating. And I have a pre-existing promise that I made to a person I trust, to a mentor. And I said I was going to go from February 28th till February 28th of next year without getting in a committed boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. So my counteroffer was, I can date you, but I'm not going to date exclusively because I'm literally learning how to date without the crutch of alcohol. So I then had, do you accept my counteroffer? And she accepted my counteroffer. So I was still dating. I was dating another woman, and I was learning how to date. I wasn't a player. It wasn't like that. I was just learning how to date, because I used to go from like hello to let's get married, right? Without like enjoying the process of getting to know the other person. And I didn't make it. I didn't make my promise. I made it till about Christmas, and then I realized, no, I love Marissa, and then I started dating her. So I made it about 10 months. And then we started dating exclusively. We got engaged that next summer, moved to California, and the rest is my life. What's the point of the story? She made a request. There was nothing ambiguous. I was always wondering if a woman that I was dating actually liked me. It was like baffling to me. The one and only woman I ever dated who talked to me like this is my forever wife. She is literally probably the most important thing that's ever happened in my life. Getting sober has also been really big for me. And I got good parents. So I'm a lucky, blessed person. So this thing really works. So I invite you to try on this speech act request. Okay, executive presence number 1, speech act request number 2. The last one, good for me, good for you. All right, so you've got your message framework. We've already kind of been teasing this out. I want to make sure you put your strongest point first. I said that earlier, but now I want to make sure you know what the strongest point is. The strongest point I'm going to suggest is the point that's good for them. Right? One of the things you can do to most honor your audience is give them something that's good for them. Like, there's actually a reason that it's good for your boss to give you a raise. I don't know what it is. You got to figure that out. Executives figure out what's in it for them. Sarah, if I could use Sarah's example about lowering the rent at the apartment, like what's good for that manager is to keep high quality tenants and full occupancy. And Sarah could say, look, I love it here, but here's what I know. I know that you're lowering the rent for the people who've rented since COVID across the hallway. That's not fair. Here's what else I know. I know that the one down there on the corner of Wilshire and Bundy, I know that they've got that other rate. I don't want to have to move down there to save $300 a month. It's not worth my time. except maybe it is. But here's what I would like. I'd like you to keep me here. I'm a great tenant. I don't make noise. I'm clean. I'm a good quality person. It's worth it for you to keep me here. Like whatever. Lead with what's strongest for that manager, that apartment manager or condo manager, right? So good for you, good for me. So your first main point is what's good for them. Second main point, oh, by the way, I'll be happy. I'll save a little money, right? I'm going to grad school. It's expensive. I'm counting my nickels right now. I want to borrow as little as possible, okay? So those are the 3 changes as we go into the second speech. All right, so what we're going to do, the board will see you number 2, all right? Pick a new timer. Everything else stays the same. Alpha by first name, okay? Turn on your phone, get your phone ready, tell the timer, okay, I'm ready. Timer says if it's professional, the board will see you now. Everybody should know all this already. It should go a little quicker, right? It's the same speech. You're going to change one thing about executive presence. Don't tell them what it is. And you're going to end the speech with the Speech Act. I request that you take a certain action by this date, period. Do you accept my request? And they can say yes, no, counteroffer. Okay, constructive feedback. Sounded like you guys were really on to that earlier. Great. Also be generous. Don't just be nice and don't say anything. Frame it in the way, you know, I love that. Here's what I saw that worked. That's the positive. And here's what I saw that was missing. If there's something that you think would make a contribution to them. What's the executive presence change? Can they see what you changed? All right, Roy, I see 11:38. So we're going to come back 11:58. Does that sound good? All right. Are we ready to go, Roy? Oh, I'm sorry. I see a hand. Jason, let's Jason, question.
Oh, sorry. No question.
Oh, okay. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Kijang?
Hey, hi, this is Xixiang. So, yes. So, yeah, thank you for your speech of acts. So, I have a question for the good for you and good for me. So, if I have a personal request, I want to maybe speak to a public servant who is like maybe a manager in the DMV. So, how could I find the point that is good for that manager, since he or she is working for the government? Like, maybe approving my request is not the interest of hers or his. So how could I find the good points for the manager?
That's the challenge. Obviously, I don't know the situation. I don't know the players. I don't know the context. So I can't answer that. So do your best. Talk to your group. That's what the practice is about. Okay? So allow the group to start to get to know your world, because you guys are going to be together for the next 3 months, right? So you can actually receive their contribution. They can help you start to untangle this, okay? It's a great question. I'm just unqualified to answer it. So do your best right now and then practice, and it'll get easier and it'll get more clear, okay?
Dylan, I want to confirm, is it 20 or 30 minutes?
30 minutes, please.
Okay.
So 11:39, let's come back at 11:59 and then we'll do the debrief and we'll be done. Sound good? All right, no more. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, one more blue hand. This will be the last one just for Matt, please. Yes. Oh, okay. I lost.
All right. Yeah.
That's good. We'll go.
Wait, I reopened it all. Okay. All right. I'm going to close it again.
All good.
I hope we didn't break Zoom. As soon as you started talking, I was like, ah! So I did it mid.
Yeah, we will wrap up and go to break.
Your lighting looks good.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. You can lower your screen a little bit. There's a lot more room above the frame, wherever where you're standing.
All right.
Yep, looks good. We're at 60 seconds. I've also been clearing all of the signals. When people raise their hands, when you say, okay, I'm not going to take any more responses, I just clear it all. There's a function on my side to do that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just so you know, Just in case you're hoping to still have more conversation, as soon as I hear those keywords, I won't be taking any more responses, or I'm going to go ahead and move on. I clear all of it.
Perfect.
All right, 20 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself.
That way you're like concrete, I did this.
All right, welcome back, welcome back. All right, we're gonna get you done on time. So everybody coming back to the big room. Okay, so let me see some blue hands. I would love to hear what you saw in the second speech, specifically executive presence, right? Did you see something different? Did you guess it yourself or others? So let's hear what you saw, and then what was it like doing the speech act request? All right, Caitlin.
Yeah, I would say in our team, everybody seemed a lot more confident with what they were discussing. Everyone was more clear as to why they were asking for something and what it is they wanted in the beginning, versus the last time it was really unclear until maybe the end of the conversation what they really wanted. So I thought that was really good.
Thank you, Caitlin. Okay, more confidence, more clarity. Wonderful, thank you. JR, what did you see?
Yeah, I think the feedback from the group helped out a lot. I think Alex in my group kind of mentioned one word that kind of changed my whole approach to it. He said, you should partner with like the business, and that kind of changed the whole way I approached the whole speech. So I think even just, small piece of feedback really helped me out, and I think it kind of went a long way in thinking about it.
Perfect. Thank you, JR. That's a great example. That's what you can offer to each other. It's hilarious. There are power words in business. There are power words in anything. The right word at the right moment. Partner. I love it. Thank you, JR. Gideon, what did you see?
Yeah, actually, in the last session, one of the comments that someone gave was using your hands a lot more. One of our speakers was kind of like, had their hands down. And I think especially on Zoom, when we're all sitting, it's like one of the very few things that we can actually do. And it's actually something that I've noticed that you do particularly well. I feel like you're very expressive with your hands. And after that last comment from the first session, I noticed that everybody was kind of just naturally talking with their hands a lot more. It's just the one simple thing that we can actually do on Zoom in order to have more of a presence.
When the presidential debates happen, just for fun, during the middle of it, mute the sound. Biden and Trump both do a lot with their hands. And it's interesting. None of those folks do anything on accident. So our body talks, so have fun with practicing with your hands. Thank you, Gideon. Mo, what did you see?
Hi, Dylan. I think a lot structure. Structure was much better this time around. When some people are talking, they knew what they wanted, and it went down the list of here's 1, 2, 3, 4 things, whatever, and then it would end with what's the request? Like, when can we hear back from you?
Yeah, walking in with some structure. I know how I'm going to begin. I know what my main point is. I know what my second main point is. And I know what my request is going to be at the end. It calms you down and it guides them along the way. It's a journey. It has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has a completion. Thank you, Mo. I'm gonna jump around a little bit. Tori B, what did you see?
Hi, I was extremely impressed. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
I was extremely impressed with our group's ability to incorporate the previous feedback. I think it was probably the top most notable thing. Additionally, I think that there were a lot of feedback this time around about body language, about delivery of speech, about leaning in, using hands. So I just second that is a great way to focus, because we were able to kind of hone in our wording from the first part, and now we're trying to hone in the body language. So I think it's just, I really enjoy the process that you've set up for us.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. Excellent. And, and look what you did, in an hour. Imagine what you can do this quarter, this year, right? And I love how you're supporting each other, offering little adjustments, a word here, change of pace there, more body language, right? These are micro adjustments that can lead to really big outcomes. Thank you, Tori. Megan, what did you see? Megan A.
Oh, Megan, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Megan. My apologies.
No worries. Yeah, I think one thing that really shined through our group this time was the authenticity. It made the request like you really wanted to believe into them. You really were excited that someone has been contributing so much and this is why we should give them their raise, or this is why we should mentor them. I think the only piece of feedback that still felt weird was the "do you accept my request" piece for someone who had a personal request. It just seemed like very formal and a little out of context, but for some of the professional ones, it did seem more in line.
Sure. And, play with this stuff. I'm not asking anyone to be a parrot ever, right? This is, we're athletes on the practice court and we're trying a new jump shot, but in the game, you've got to own the motion, and you want the language that works. Grandma, do you accept my request? I don't know. That might be too strong. But there is something really powerful about giving them total 100% choice. Yes, no, counteroffer, right? Because it's just clean. I'm not making you do anything, but I'm doing, my job is to let you know what my needs are. And then my next job is to give you full choice to interact with that request in any way. So great. Thank you, Megan. Bob F.
I think Megan actually covered it earlier. I actually just thought too that the request part was actually a lot smoother than I anticipated in the beginning. When you first brought it up, I thought it was like the most awkward thing to ask. Like, do you accept my request? Or like, I request you to do this. But I think most of the time when we ended it, it was a lot smoother than I thought it would be.
Excellent. Yeah. And just practice. But I need X by Y. Do you accept? Chaitanya.
Hi, so this was a great exercise, and the speakers in our group, they were really good. So I was thinking, how will they top the second round? They actually did. They got like more structured, more content. And also in the first round, I had a brain freeze, and a good suggestion was that you know what you're speaking, so you don't need to worry about it, and just move past that point. So that was a great suggestion, personally for me.
Excellent. Once you've gotten the topic out there, you remember, it doesn't all have to happen in one meeting. But now that you have the topic out there, look, I love working here. I want to be a big contributor the whole time I'm in school, and I'd love to be a director someday. I'd love to be a vice president someday. I'd just like to accelerate that curve. Maybe if you thought it was going to take 10 years, I'd like to do it in 5, right? Like, you create partnership. I love the word that got shared earlier. Or if it's a dating situation, I love being your boyfriend. I hope we can, become a forever family. I don't know how to do this. I've never gotten married before, but I'd like to, whatever, get a puppy, get an apartment, and then the other person can say, whoa, I'm not ready for that. Or why don't we look at that in 6 months? Or no, we're just friends. Any way it goes is how it goes, but at least we know where we are. I use the personal example, even though most of us are going to do professional iterations of this. My wife got very clear with me about what she was intending, my girlfriend, now wife. Okay, so 12:24, 6 minutes left. So thank you for all that. We won't get to everyone. Give yourself a quick grade. Where were you 3 hours ago? Where are you now? Hopefully you went up. Nobody's going to see this grade is yours, and it's yours privately. It's a continuum. You've got 3 years to practice, Remember Michelle's advice last night. Find the person on your group who hates public speaking the most, make them give the speech, right? And you can do that for everything around here. If you don't know anything about finance, you can be the person who runs the models for the finance part, right? Challenge yourself, give yourself permission to fail, and borrow from your classmates. Good artists borrow, great artists borrow a lot. Okay, there's 6 bonus tools here. Constructive feedback, we talked about that. Questions and answers. Not in a request like we did right now, but in more of a presentation. Leave time for Q&A. Time, never go long. Early, arrive early, get there early, check out the situation. Something's always wrong. There's a missing cable. Somebody doesn't know the password. If you get there early, that stuff works out. Practice, practice. And there is a persuasion continuum. Today is practice. Next week is where you start to get results, or this weekend if it's a personal. Start to look for real life opportunities. That's what I would love for you next week. Start to look for real life opportunities. Volunteer to run the meeting. Volunteer to give the update. Volunteer to type up the minutes. We communicate with words. We communicate in writing. We communicate with our body. Show up early. Stay a little late. Be the person who volunteers, right? Take something off your boss's plate. Look at your boss and ask, where's something I could do that would help him or her? Look at your boss's boss. Get a dotted line going with some people up there, a level or 2 above you. Start looking for ways to build yourself into the biggerness of your organization. Biggerness, that's a new word, okay? Get beyond your immediate team. Start looking for ways to contribute. And you don't have to take huge steps. Just start building relationships, right? Everything's a reciprocity in business. There's always an exchange of value. And as you exchange value, you build trust. And as you build trust, you get more responsibility. As you take on more responsibility, your career gets bigger. Your life gets more interesting. You make a bigger impact. All right. One more plug. I know a lot of you did Notely, but one more plug for this. You can use this in your personal life. You can use this to give the best man toast at the wedding, or the maid of honor toast, right? Ting, 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 150 people, the room gets silent. You're standing in the spotlight, right? You got the microphone. You can have this and you can just open it right next to your salad plate, and you can look down and you can take the microphone and you can look at the bride. Jessica, I'm a little nervous, but what I want you to know is that your husband, Justin, has been my best friend since I was in 8th grade. He's got me through the most difficult chapters of my life, and I know he's going to be the best husband for you for the rest of your life. And I want you to know, on behalf of all of us, and I want to invite everybody here, that we are the village that's going to make this family the very best Jessica Justin family the world's ever seen. And I'm just honored to get to be here as his best man, and hopefully one of the friends for you to take care of him so that he can be the best husband he can be, whatever it would be, right? But like, it's one of those moments like, the lights, the pressure, all the people looking at me, silence. I need to say something that honors this moment. This method does work. You can use this to give a eulogy. So I really invite you to play with this. I really appreciate it when people send me little examples all year. This is one that I got like 2 weeks after last year. He went to the boss's boss and he made a big pitch, and this is what he did, right? So you're going to have some victories. So please share those victories with me this year. Next week, last 2 things. On page 11, if this is the bonus assignment I told you I'd give you at the start. On page 11, if you'd like, print off page 11, print off page 12. Page 11 is a promise you can make to yourself. What is something that would make you smile? It's the raise, it's the tuition reimbursement, it's the help from grandma, right? Whatever it is, it's the puppy. Who would I request? What would I request? Who would I request? By when? Okay, and you can also write your new grade on there. That's this one. There's space to do a personal one or a professional one. All right, there's a place in the box here. Write it down. Next week, I'm going to get on my boss's calendar and we're going to start the conversation about my next role. That's one bonus assignment, page 12. if you really want to see results, keep this good vibe going. Somebody, maybe the timer, maybe the team captain, just write it down, right? Gideon, Mo, Melissa, Jason, JR, Yoti, we're all a team. Who wants what? Who are they going to ask? And then how can we support each other? Maybe get a little text chain going. Maybe once a week we check in, ask how it's all going. All right? It'll make a difference. Trust me, you will get there faster if you go together. All right, watch your videos on Sunday. Look at video A, look at video B. Tell yourself, good job. Have fun on Tuesday. Look for new opportunities to stand and deliver. You are the CEO of your own life. John Wooden, failure is not fatal. It's okay to fail. Failure to change might be fatal. People who don't change, their careers don't get bigger. Be willing to experiment. This is a laboratory, right? Leverage each other, leverage your board of directors. All right, 12:30, we're done. Enjoy lunch. An hour from now, we'll start again. Thank you, Roy. Thank you, Roy. Couldn't do this without you. Thanks, everyone. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you, Roy.
Thank you, Roy.
Thanks.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you, Dylan and Roy.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. I see a couple hands. Jimmy. Oh, nope, the hands are gone. All right.
Wow, Dylan, that's amazing. You had a 12:30 stop.
I got the clock. It's not amazing. I'm looking at the clock. I can do a couple minutes of Q&A if anybody has some, and then Roy and I'll have to shut this down so we can get the conversion. Pravina, did you have a question?
Yeah, so it was an amazing experience. I think, yeah, so what worked for us was we kind of took each other's what we wanted to do, like a problem statement and what we wanted to achieve out of it very seriously. So we were like so into giving them feedback and trying to incorporate it the next time. We were fairly successful with that. And on the downside, we took the feedback and giving feedback so seriously that all the 5 could not even finish talking. So yeah, that's why I was requesting for like, can we have 10 more minutes so that this can be a fair game and everybody gets a chance to talk. Yeah. So and then just being able to tell this and you know, authentically just taking feedback kind of made it so real for us that it feels like we've already spoken to that person a couple of times, whomever we wanted to talk to. It feels like whoever the person was, we have never met, but we already know them, we have spoken to them. So it kind of has this virtual mental connection that we are more comfortable now. It's like, you know, painting a portrait of some random person, right? Like you've never seen them, but you've painted them so many times, looking at their picture that you already know them so well. It's like almost become a friend or something. So that's how it felt. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. And then, yeah, that's what.
Well, thank you for the feedback, Pravina. Thank you. This is very fulfilling to get to lead this workshop, and it's really fulfilling when it makes a difference, because that's the point. Thank you for that. Anything else?
A quick question, kind of actually related to what Pravina was saying. This was really helpful to not only hear what they were asking for, but to hear it twice, and the second time being so much more eloquent. My question is, for all of our requests, you know, yours with your grandmother and mine with my boss, how much heads up should we provide them with what we're going to be asking them? Like, should we just kind of put a meeting on and just like go straight into it, or should we put an agenda in the meeting, or how should we approach that?
Well, I don't know your boss. I don't know the context. So similar to my non-answers earlier, this is a science and it's an art, okay? And I'm 51 years old and I'm starting to be in the room where it happens, and I still get nervous. What works for me is over preparation. People like to know what's coming. No one likes to be blindsided. You know, I'd like to get on your calendar to talk about what's next for me in my career. Okay, good. Now I got the thesis. I know Jessica's coming in and we're going to talk about career. I'm a boss. I have lots of employees. I have a proactive one. This is all good, right? And then, you know, so that's like what, just so that because, you know, a lot of times there's a gatekeeper and, you know, you always want to represent the topic accurately. So the gatekeeper does their job, because gatekeepers do not like to feel like someone went around them. You know, I'm a gatekeeper. My job is to watch the gate. My job is to let through the right conversations. My job is to block conversations that the person that I'm helping manage their life and their schedule and their priorities, right? And they usually have parameters that they work with. And there's certain times it might be the wrong person. You know, actually that topic, you need to talk to the HR director, you know, that kind of thing. So
that's really good. That's really good to keep in mind.
And then, you know, that's getting on the calendar with a person who's, you know, a high demand schedule person. And then I think in the meeting, you know, the old fashioned, except still really good, is let me tell you what I'm going to tell you. Let me tell you, and let me tell you what I told you. That's a different way to say it. So thank you so much. I have half an hour on your calendar. If we can get done quicker, I'll give you some time back in your life. I'm here today to talk about what's next in my career. I've got 2 points I'd like to share with you. I'd like to give you an opportunity to guide me. So with no further ado, let's jump in, right? And then bang, 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 bang. And, you know, you've got 30 minutes on the calendar. You're done at minute 8. You know, so my request is that you put me on the list of high potentials such that I can, you know, be placed into opportunities, projects, and you know, activities around here above and beyond my current job. And I'd love to start that in the new calendar year. Do you accept my request? Right? And then it's 8 minutes. And, you know, a lot of times the counter request is better than the request you go in with. Jessica, wow, you know, your timing is perfect. You know, we just had our summer retreat and we were looking at the high potential list. You're already on that. You know that, right? So what we're now trying to do is, you know, we really feel like due to COVID that our high potentials need a whole other level of digital presentation of their future account of, you know, like whatever. So sometimes, you know, it's just like you bring your proactivity. Luck is preparation meets opportunity, right? It's not luck, it's you put yourself on the calendar. You are being proactive. You are being a champion for what's next for Jessica. And it just so happens that it matches the moment unbeknownst to you. And I think a lot of, you know, like, how do executives get to be executives? They get good at asking, they become more competent, they build their own confidence. There's no one trick. It's the result of years of effort. So as Forrest Gump would say, that's all I have to say about that.
Very helpful. Thank you, Dylan.
Sure.
Thank you, Roy.
No, my pleasure. Let me do one more, and then we have to pause to kind of reset for the afternoon. Jorge.
Hey, Dylan. Thanks. Thank you for that. I usually go by George, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. I know my name is spelled Jorge for sure, but most people just call me George, though.
Nice to meet you, George.
You too. So I got some really good feedback too on our speeches and presentations, and I think it worked really well. My only question is there like an implied level of relationship that we should have before we kind of approach with a request like this? For example, the boss that I'm thinking of that I would present this type of question, this wasn't the same boss actually that wrote like my recommendation letters. You know, this is a kind of a newer boss, and we haven't really had an opportunity to have a lot of, I guess, good rapport be built up yet. You know, in fact, on the contrary, there's been unfortunately some times where like we've butted heads a few times. You know. So would this be a good approach still, or should I focus on fixing that relationship a bit first?
You know, I apologize. I'm going to give the same answer. You know, I don't know the person. I don't know the backstory. I don't know the context. So I can't give you a good answer. That's the that's the challenge of all this stuff, right? How to read the room, how to read the relationship. But what I can suggest is that clarity, clear requests, speaking from your heart, speaking from your commitment, speaking with a long-term vision, with a question for short-term actions. You know, leaders, it's back and forth. You know, something will happen in the conversation that will be positive, because, you know, and you can, you know, and sometimes the thing that's like the thing that kind of makes you cringe is the thing to start with. You know, I'm so grateful to be on your calendar. I really want to just start by saying, I feel like I butted heads with you last month at the meeting. And I just want to make sure you know that I respect you as a professional, and I feel like you're paying me for my best thinking. And my thinking on that topic was that that was not the way to go, but possibly my delivery was a little clunky. And if that came across disrespectful on a personal level, I really want to clean that up, because that was only my professional commitment that we have a product that works, right? Like that. You can clear the air. And then they go, you know, that guy, George, he doesn't step over stuff. He's not afraid of a critical conversation, and his commitment is to workability, right? But like it takes years of practice to get comfortable doing that stuff. So, you know, use this time, you know, but if your spider senses are tingling, they're probably tingling for a reason, George, right? And don't step over stuff, because when we step over stuff, people feel like we're stepping over stuff. And executives, my observation, executives live in such a high demand constraint that they have to practice integrity in everything. There's just not time to sweep stuff under the rug, right? They address challenges as they arise, and they move on to the next and move on to the next. So.
Okay. Yeah. And it's pretty minor, to be honest. I think I could pretty easily kind of clear the air. And I think if I was to bring it up to my boss, he'd say, oh yeah, that was, you know, no big deal, you know?
Well, and it's respectful that you're, even if it's small, just, you know, paying attention and not assuming, you know, is always good. So.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. My pleasure. Enjoy lunch. And 1:30 is the next module. And so Roy, why don't we shut down this one? We'll let it reset for 5 minutes or so. That lets the video record, and then we can turn it back on. Will you turn it back on in a little while?
How about this? We'll reconnect at 1:15. Is that a time?
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
See you on there.
All right. Talk to you then.
Thank you.